Hello everybody, and welcome to the Component Cast. You're probably wondering, where is that other mug that usually does all this intro stuff? He is currently busy. He's doing real life things that we hate him for, so he's not here for a little while. Midge, we love you. We hope you get through all your stress soon. Rival, stop shaking your head. It's not very nice. The people at home can see you. So, what are we doing today? Well, with Midge gone and some background stuff that we need to sort out, we are actually doing a shorter campaign to cover us for a little while. We are back playing Urban Jungle. Urban Jungle is a anthropomorphic noir roleplay system, which is a single book roleplay system. You only need to buy this book to play. There are some expansions. There is a film noir expansion, which is like a sci-fi thing. There's also a horror expansion, so if you're into your cosmic horror, that's also an interesting choice. If you buy it off of TTRPG, you will get this really nice hardcover book, which, you know, it's basically print to order. You order it, it'll come to you. It's also half off on TTRPG. Roach has an original copy with the soft back there. So yeah, that's available on TTRPG if you want to buy it. It's by Sanguine Productions. It's a great game. We've played it before. We're back here again at it. What else is there? Oh yes, the podcast stuff. So, you can follow our shows on individual podcast channels. You can find them by searching the show's title. You can find our Dungeons & Dragons show, the Eleanor Chronicles, our Urban Jungle show, Trug and Icers, White Hunter show, the Great Schism, our Lantern show, It's Just Business, and our specials include Elite Dangerous Survival special, the Goodies or Gobbies, Moogle special, House of Time, Midgeman special, the Bats Ghost special, on the Podbean, Player FM, Podchaser, Listen Notes, Moonplay app, Podcast, Covercast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Castbox, Podfast, Podcast Addicts, and Good Pods apps. Shows released on YouTube and on the podcast channels at 12 noon GMT, Friday for Eleanor, Saturday for Lancer, and Sunday for specials. This show will be in the specials channel. So if you're wondering how to find that, just go on any of the previously mentioned apps. I will not go through them again. And you can search Component Cast Specials, and that's where you can find them. Please remember to turn on the auto downloader per your preferred app, and be sure to leave a review and share it with your friends who are equally as nerdy. And please check out our links down below. There's a link. There's a universal link, Doris. You can find our merch store there. Merch is limited to show runtime, so once the show stops, the merch will be pulled. There is no merch for this show, unfortunately, but if you want to get some Lancer merch or some Eldor Chronicles merch, you can find it there. I'm wearing a Lancer hoodie right now. You can't really tell because it is in monochrome, but it is a really nice hoodie. Red's wearing the shawl hoodie, and I appreciate her for modeling that for us.
I forgot my mug.
Forgot your mug. Yeah, there's some Avari mugs and stuff on there as well.
No.
So if you're looking for some good stuff, you can find it there. I believe that's everything that we have to talk about. Oh, music is provided by Epidemic Sound. So any of the music you're hearing back at home right now, this fantastically smooth jazz that I found, you can find it on Epidemic Sound. It's licensed through there. It's all...
We also have our own soundtrack. That was...
Yes, we have our own soundtrack. So if you want to find some cool fantasy soundtrack stuff, find it on Spotify. Alternatively, if you're on Patreon, you can just get the high quality .wav files there, I believe. That's everything, I'm pretty sure at this point. So... let's do our opener. And welcome back. So, let's start with something fun. Bellegarde, 1928. Monday the 7th of June. The heat and humidity strangle the heavy suits and the firm dresses of the people walking through the molasses-like air. It's collection day for the thugs and the gangs. Some have standards, some don't. 5 gangs, all with the significant power and money. The Muldoons, the O'Shaughnessy's, the Gauthiers, the Parisians, the Lombardis. They all have their own niche of vices. Some new, some old, some just because it keeps the balance. And that balance is now in question. There are new players at the table, and their deck is stacked in the favor of chaos. Welcome to Bellegarde. Stay a while and see what's left of you afterwards. And I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Holy heck, what?
How do I do that?
You roll your speed and evasion, I believe. Or just your speed and something else. It should be on your sheet. The front part of your
You
sheet.
should have calculated that out as a part of character gen.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Yeah, appreciate that. Thank you very much there, Roach.
Do you do you mind if I roll in person or not?
No, you can roll in
I don't know if
person.
we have those
That's
roll-
fine with me.
Okay, good.
If you want to roll,
I
if you
just
guys
have-
want to roll in
I have a
person,
lot
you
of
can feel free to
dice.
roll in person. If you don't want to roll in person, you don't have to.
I crave the plastic in my hand.
I crave the crack.
The shiny math rock.
Yeah.
Mikey, you know what we missed when?
Oh, your initiative is on your character sheet initially when you build it, Utari. So if you go to battle stats, it's written right beneath there. It says battle stats, and your initiative is 2d8.
Oh, okay.
So when you open your sheet, it's right there. Nice. So Jake has 1 success with a high of 5. Dr. Schultz has 1 success with a high of 7.
Check. My initiative is a D8, D6, D8. Need to find D8s.
The diamond ones. Red got 2 successes, a 6 and a 5.
Successes are
4 and above.
4 ups, right? A 2, 2, and a 3.
So no successes for good old Roach. So the highest success there was Rival with a 9 on a D12. Then it was Jim Schultz with a 7. Then it was Red with a, I believe it's a gift he has. Then it was Red with a 6, and then it was Jake with a 5, and then it's Roach last with 0.
0 with the highest of a 3.
Yes. Right, so we will jump to Jim Schultz. Not Jim Schultz, sorry, to Jake Bullet. Rival, where's your character at 10 a.m. on this hot, heavy day of the week?
Mikey, check thingy.
At 10 a.m., so that's 10 in the morning.
10 a.m.
My character is in his office, drinking his 4th cup of coffee for that morning, looking over case files of outstanding cases he's working for the public of this fine city.
Anything in particular on your desk today?
Not so much. It's more the usual possible cheating spouses and lost family heirlooms that really doesn't think are lost. More insurance cases that people are trying to sneak past the insurance people. It's not really taking much interest in those, but you know, it's kind of quiet. It's just the normal riffraff coming through the door today.
Is there anyone you're expecting to have come in the door today? Maybe someone who's owing you a favor or owes you for a case?
Oh, I have many people like that.
Right.
But I tend not to go after those favors until I really need them.
Until they're the next thing you need on your list, basically?
Yeah, you know.
Cool.
I'm a wolf.
Cool. That's fair. So, a lady walks in the door. You know her from various other cases you've had. She's a madame. She's had a couple husbands in her life. Always seems to come out richer every time. Her name is Lily. She is a elephant, and you have known her for about 7 years and about 4 husbands. And every single time she comes in the door, it's always because she thinks a husband's cheating. Her money's always good, though. It's gotten better every time.
Seriously?
Yep.
Again?
At this point, you're not helping somebody find a cheater. You're helping somebody find a motive to kill.
At this point, you're an accessory to murder.
Seriously, Lee? Again?
Well, listen, Jake. I can't be held accountable for the actions of man.
Yeah, you can.
No, I can't. He's the one making these choices. Anyway, it's not about my husband this time.
Cover me shocked?
It's actually about my cousin. He's gone missing. Middle of town. We think he got in with some rough individuals, maybe with the Parisians. I don't know if you deal with gangs, but I know you're a good man, and I know my money is. You know my money's good.
All right. So this isn't another cheating husband. You know, I might be able to shift my schedule around to help. So, Parisians? Really?
He likes the glitz and glamour. I don't know what it is, man. You know, those high up gangers, you know, they have this decorum. You know, they dress well and they're all gentlemen. I suppose that's probably what it is.
Well, I've heard them called things before, but gentleman's never been one of them. Okay, when was the last time you saw him?
Last week. Tuesday last week. At lunch.
At lunch. Where?
Finny Girmo. We were at the butcher's block. You probably know it.
I'm gonna nod and go, yeah, okay.
We were there picking up some lunch, and he was approached by somebody while we were walking back home, and I didn't see him after that. I didn't recognize the man he was talking to.
Description?
Maybe 6 feet tall, slim, very slim build. Could tell his suit wasn't incredibly well fitted, you know. It was kind of hanging off of him. If I had to guess, maybe a short-furred cat.
Color?
Calico.
Alright. So we got a calico cat. Walked up to your cousin, and then you never saw your cousin again. Did he go willingly?
I mean, it looked like it, yeah.
And it looked like you knew him.
Yeah, they were talking. They looked like they were talking about something. You know, it was hushed, but it wasn't hurried or desperate.
All right, standard fee and expenses.
All right, you want half up front and half when the job is done?
Yeah, no, that's the way it works.
Of course. And she reaches into her blouse and pulls out an envelope and puts it on the
give me
table.
a week. I'll see what I can do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bullet. It's appreciated.
All right, leave it with me. I'll be in touch.
Of course. You know my number. And she stands up and gives you a little bow and a curtsy, and she goes to leave. And next up, we have the good Dr. Schultz. Doctor, give me the news. I've got a bad case of feeling the blues. It is around 1 p.m., just after your lunchtime. And you're back in your practice, your rented practice, because you don't actually own a practice in Bellegarde yet. You've just turned up a little while ago. But you've had a fairly high level of customers in the last few weeks. Your name has started to get out there. People are starting to know Jim Schultz, the good doctor. And today you've got a full book of appointments. Your first appointment of the afternoon is with Milton, a hard-working older weasel. Milton is sort of known as the guy you go to when you've got a kid's party around. He's a bit of a magician. Does really good card tricks and such. Milton has a bit of a nervous twitch and you've seen this before, obviously. Sir, and he takes off his hat. I've been struggling with this Twitch for a while, and it's made my job so much more difficult. I've been trying to, perform for the kids. It's just not... I just can't do the same tricks I used to now. I don't think it's because I'm getting old. I can't get rid of this Twitch.
Yes, Mr. Sir. We definitely remember this Twitch going on for quite some time, correct? I believe you was in here about a month ago.
That's correct, sir.
And you got no improvement from the prescription I wrote you?
There was some, yes. The Twitch, it subsided for a while, but unfortunately with maybe developing tolerance, my hand started twitching again, and unfortunately it cost me a gig, and it was a well-paying one too.
No, I'm very feared to hear that this condition is getting worse. But it definitely sounds like we're on the right track, that perhaps the tolerance to the medication is what's the issue at hand here, rather than the medication itself not being effective. So, what...
The good doctor needs to cough.
What I propose is... I think we're gonna have to up the prescription, possibly looking at double the dose. Do you agree with that idea, sir? Do you think that maybe will help?
Well, you're the doctor here, so I'll refer to your judgment.
Yes, well, I do not advise that you take it all in the short term and up the amount that you're taking at a time. Maybe try and spread it out a little bit more. This stuff's hard to come by as well these days, as you can quite understand. But of course, this is all above board, the supply that I'm getting. But I definitely think that we should continue with the medication. I'll write you a prescription, and the dispensary that I highly recommend. You'll get it within the hour.
Of course, yes, I'll do that. And will I set in an appointment in 6 weeks with your receptionist as a follow-up?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's great, sir. Thank you so much for your help. And he will hand you the money for your appointment. It's basically the same thing for the next little while, until this very sharp-dressed man comes in. You've not seen him before. He is maybe 6'6"-ish. He's a gecko, and he offers you a hand. My name is Edwin Leclerc, sir. I'm a representative of an interested party in your services.
Well, as a doctor, I'm of course always happy to help any person that requires my aid.
Well, sir, they have a bit of a cosmetic problem, and they would like to keep the nature of this and the fact that this is a problem secretive. So, if possible, sir, could I ask you to come with me? We'll drive you there and drive you back.
I understand that discretion it can be quite important in these circumstances, but I will have to ask just some small details, just for my understanding of what I'm getting in for. Are we talking something that's going to require possible surgery? Is this quite extensive? You don't have to give me any fine details. Just give me a broad idea of what we're talking about.
Well, my employer has had a case of a very stubborn rash that has not gone away. It is in a sensitive location.
Oh, you can stop right there, sir. I get the full idea of what I'm stepping into. I can certainly help with that. Allow me, please, to just speak to my receptionist and just clear my schedule for you.
Of course.
All right, I'll be a jiffy, and I will see you outside, sir.
Of course, sir. I'll wait for you outside.
I'm gonna go ahead and inform the receptionist to have to break the bad news to everyone else waiting in line for the completely and utterly legitimate alcohol dispensary.
Yes. The receptionist, you've known her for a while. You hired her a little while ago. The dear Sylvia nods and says, "Of course, I'll let everyone know." And everyone is, you can tell there's like a thing of like, "Oh, I wanted to get my appointment today," and they have to reschedule. But no one seems to really be all that perturbed. There's a bit of like, "Oh, sucks" kind of thing going on, but everyone's pretty okay about it in the end.
Right, and I'm going to proceed to get my medical bag together, and given what was being described, a collection of medicines that are related towards treatments of certain diseases picked up with certain activities. Just a wide range of choices and stuff of what would be available at the time.
Of course, yeah. So, Edwin is waiting outside next to a brand new Model T. He gets into the back seat next to you. The drive is quite. It's quiet, but you can hear this constant trundling, like you're driving on wood, which you are, because Bellegarde is built across basically a level. So the city is built on top of an older city which has sunk into the swamp. So there's a constant there's a constant need to build up these supports to keep the city on the level. The old city, as it's referred to below this sort of level, is mostly full of like people who prefer living in wetter areas, like otters and hippos and stuff like that. People who have more of a semi-aquatic lifestyle, frogs, that sort of thing. Some geckos, much like Edwin. So there's that constant trundle of the wooden rubber-covered wheel on wood. And it's not a very long trip, but you recognize the area. It's a Lombardy part of town, and the particular building that you see in front of you is a well-known Lombardy gang house. It's not for the rough and tumble guys, it's more for like the higher-ups, you'd say. You'd know it from, locals who've come in and told you about it, largely because they don't want the new doctor to get killed on the street. Because, new doctor. Keep them around. And Edwin steps out of the Model T and says, follow me this way, sir.
Don't you really follow?
He walks up to the gang house and opens the front door. He lets you in first and then closes the door behind him. You don't hear a locking of the door, which in this era is, it's quite loud when you hear keys chundling. He then walks past you and brings you into a parlor room where there are 5 or 6 different chairs spread around. There's a coffee table. The smell of thick cigar smoke hangs in the air, even though you can tell no one's currently smoking in here. There is a coffee cup sitting on the coffee table, and that's about it at the minute, with a older man sitting in one of the chairs. His name is Curtis. He is a bat. Curtis looks up from the chair. You can tell that he's maybe in his 60s-ish, with the sunken cheeks and the very, very obvious crow's feet. I don't know if that's necessarily what you would say in this era, but crow's feet at the side of his face. His fur is graying in various places, quite patchy. He looks up and goes, the doctor. Perfect. I've heard nothing but good things about you. Dr. Schultz, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I'm quite honored to be received in such warm manner as this.
Well, please take a seat. Would you like a coffee?
Please, thank you.
Edwin, would you make the man a coffee? And Edwin goes, of course, sir, and then he walks away. Curtis speaks with a very twingy Italian accent. Very obviously not born in Italy, but of Italian descent. He goes, well, I'm aware that Edwin probably had to tell you some things about what I'm currently experiencing. I will tell you first off, Has nothing to do with bedtime activities. I have been with my wife for 42 years, and both of us have been very loyal. We're bats. We mate for life. However, I can tell you that I have had an issue with cleanliness, because it's difficult for me to clean myself in the same ways, as because I'm a bit older now and I'm a bit creaky. So I need to possibly hire someone, but unfortunately I didn't do it quickly enough, and I'm suffering the consequences.
Yes, this is something that I can certainly help you out with. Some details were obviously provided just to give me some idea of what to bring in my bag, but understand that nothing specific was said or discussed or asked until I got to see you as my patient. Obviously, would you be comfortable with me having a look in a private, go to a private place, just so I can understand exactly what I'm dealing with here?
Of course.
And then I'll be able to get you fixed up right up with that. That's a perfectly easy thing that we can get some treatment for you, sir.
Of course. The coffee will be back in a moment. So there's a changing room, like next door. You can probably assume it's for when people will come in, you get changed out of clothes, and leave really quickly again. But he goes in there with you. So I'm going to ask you to make a academics. Yeah, I'm going to make a mind academics roll for this one for me. You can add medicine to this as well.
Why isn't it opening it? Oh, it's posting it in the thing rather than opening it up. For God's sake, hold on. I need to change this thing so I can actually read it. Why am I not able to read the chat thing as being, it's this translucent dark thing? How do I turn that off?
Make sure you've turned off your dark reader if you have that turned on. Alternatively, it just gives you a bonus D12, which you will in this situation.
Yeah. I just need to know how I do that.
Oh, you just add the
turn off the thing.
I'm not sure what that is, honestly. What you might have turned on.
I cannot see anything in there. It's horrible.
Do you have Dark Reader turned on? Is that a thing? Do you have the Dark Reader extension on your browser?
No, I don't have that as an extension.
I'm not sure then, honestly, what's going on there. Maybe try reloading the page. I'm not sure what could be wrong with that, because I don't see that issue. Does anyone else have an issue with reading the stuff in the...
It's like dark grey coloured and translucent, and the text is coming up as black, which makes it really hard to read, especially on the background of this purple thing. This purple background we've got in a minute. I don't know how to turn that.
Well, I'll tell you what you need to roll, and you can just roll it down in the bottom here if you want. There's a little dice tray there you can click on in the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, I can see that.
So you need to roll a D8. You need to roll 2 D8s and a D12. So mind, academics, and then your bonus D12.
2 D8s and a D12.
Yes. So you rolled You rolled 2 successes, so you got an 8 and a 5. So you know this. It's chilblains. It's a pretty common sort of thing you've seen in the church, with people in the trenches before. It's just a case of, lack of cleanliness. Basically, happens a lot in the south because of the fact that there's a lot of sweating and humidity areas. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to treat. You have a balm and a powder that you need to apply 3 times a day in your bag that you can give him.
Yes, that looks like chilblains, sir. Do not worry. This is a pretty common issue, especially in this part of the country. It's the hot and humidity, it's not necessarily just the hygiene issue, it's also the weather. It's very balmy, very sultry down here. It's, this is something that we can fix up. So let me just have a quick little look-see in my bag while you get back to being presentable, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead and retrieve the powder for him.
Cool. You can go ahead and do that.
Little cardboard carton type stuff.
Yeah.
Proper 1920s.
Yes.
So
once you give him your stuff, he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a wallet and hands you a little bit more. Obviously, it's a house call than your usual charge, so he gives you a few bills. Thank you for your assistance, good doctor. I will be sure to keep you in mind if I ever have anything else I'll need help with.
Oh, absolutely, sir. But certainly, please allow me to give you this here. Allow me to give you this here card, and you'll be able to get direct into touch with me and be able to skip all the queuing and all the fussing and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to be able to clear my schedule for any other emergency situations, and proceed to hand in my business card with the telephone number.
He takes the business card and
switchboard directory.
he's very happy to have it. Curtis gives you a very sharp but how do I phrase it? Very sharp but grateful nod. All right, good doctor. You enjoy your coffee. Edwin will bring you back to your practice. I unfortunately have something else I need to get done with today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming to my help.
Of course, sir. Pleasure to be able to help you with this issue, and thank you very much for this hospitality.
Of course. And he will leave you with Edwin. The coffee's really, really nice. Like, even for the era's, like, quality, it's very good. And that is where we will leave you. Next up, we have Red Moogle. Red, it is currently 3 p.m. Where's Aces hanging out right now?
Ace is still working in the diner, Joe's diner.
Mm-hmm. So
but the lunchtime rush has calmed down, so she's helping tidy things up.
Cool. So you have a couple fairly regulars who come around, people who maybe don't have anything else to go do, or people who, you know, this is like their local, you know, house where they come to pick up some non-alcoholic beer, a coffee, you know, a newspaper to keep up with the times. So there is Joe and Jonita. Jonita is a mouse and Joe is a possum. Those are two of your regulars. They are sitting in what they would consider their sort of space, which is like your diner has this kind of very flat U-shaped bar area, but it doesn't actually serve any drinks. It's just where people will usually sit. They're sitting on one end of it, like on the far end over here. You are going around cleaning up the plates, and Joe and Juanita are talking about their week. They're talking about work, and you know, Joe is this very upbeat, you know, very happy guy, which kind of is very counterintuitive to the possum as a species. But he's very interesting as a person to be around. While Juanita as a mouse is very like she's very forward. You're pretty sure that like she's got a lot going on in her life. This woman, she's very willing to speak her mind, very willing to get involved in things. Joe has a bit of naivete around him, but you don't seem to mind that. Joe is currently talking about how his Wednesday in work has gone. Joe works the night shift and Juanita works like a evening shift, so they kind of meet together as she's going to work and he's going home from work. He works as hang on, let me check. He works as a busboy in a local hotel. He is talking about how he recently had to deal with a very, very angry customer who told him all about how he would get him fired if he did not do exactly what he was told. He didn't do exactly what he was told. Instead, he stuck to his guns and got himself a pat on the back from his supervisor, which he is very happy for. While Juanita's talking about how they ended up in a situation not too long ago, very similar in her work, where someone came in, flashed a load of cash, tried to convince everyone that they were the bee's knees, and then got tossed out by security. You hear your backroom staff are talking. With that as quiet as it is right now, there's not much else going on. Joe and Juanita both stand up and they give you a wave and say, "Tips on the table."
Thank you.
When you go over to collect your tip, it's significant. Joe and Juanita always usually leave a pretty decent tip behind.
Alright, once I've cleared all their plates, I'll head down to the other counter and see if the person sitting there needs a top-up of their coffee.
The individual sitting there is a jackal. You've not seen them before. You'd say they're pretty well dressed and well kempt. They've been sipping coffee for the last hour. They have ordered some food, and they have tipped every time they've ordered, which is definitely helpful. You come up to them and they go, "Oh, thank you, ma'am." Holds out moves the coffee cup away from underneath him and slides it over, so it's easier to get to the cup. He's reading a newspaper.
Anything else I can get for you? We got some snow cones.
You know what? Yeah. What flavor snow cones do you have?
Lemon, strawberry, blueberry, and grape.
I'll take a blueberry one, please.
Not a problem. Back soon.
And then at this point, two more people walk in. You recognize them. They're semi-regulars. You don't know their names, but they're usually around this time of day, and they give you a wave as they go take a booth.
Right, I'll go and get a snow cone for the jackal and then head over with my notebook.
Cool. You get the jackal his snow cone. You hear him mumbling something. If you would make me a speed observation. You got a success. I think you got a success with a 6. Cool.
Yeah.
So, you hear him mumbling something about the Gauthiers and the Lombardis, and then a soft, exhale of, well, this isn't good. And then you get to him.
Sorry, Mikey, I've got another D8 I forgot.
Oh, roll it away there. 8. Okay, so 2 successes. So you hear him say, "Oh, there's some tension on the Lombardy and Gauthier territory lines," and then, "This isn't good for the O'Shaughnessy's." And then you get to him.
Here's your snow cone. Holler if you need anything else.
He jumps a little bit. He didn't realize you were there, and goes, "Oh, thank you." And he takes it off of you and starts eating it. And as you go over to your other two semi-regulars, they ordered their usual that you can remember. Coffees, a full breakfast each, and one of them gets a snow cone, a grape one.
Alright, I put their order in and bring it back when it's ready.
Cool. While you're waiting, the jackal stands up and leaves the money on the table underneath his coffee cup, and he goes. He has his newspaper underneath his arm, and he heads out. You see the soft tinkling of the bell above the door, and he gives you a wave, leaving you alone with the two regulars. And at this point, we go to... No, sorry, you go ahead, Red. I need to remember who we go to next.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to say I carry on working.
Carry on working. Carry on making that dash. Next, we go to... Oh, wait, did Rival roll twice? Oh, yeah, sorry, no, Rival shouldn't have gone first. I was looking at the wrong result. It doesn't matter. Red, and now it is Roach's turn. Roach, it is closing in on 6:30 in the evening. It is a late night, well, you know, late sundown because it's summertime in the south. Where is Lucy right now? You're muted.
What day is it? In the
It
week?
is. I'll tell you right now. It is Monday.
Monday?
Yes.
I'd say she's probably like, I think probably in a garage at this point in the day, and like probably like upper half into her vehicle
Yeah.
doing maintenance on it.
Doing some of that good mechanic work. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Now,
Yeah, just doing like, you know, topping up things, making sure everything's still running smoothly. Like it's, you know, it's 1925, there's 1928, so there's a lot more preventative maintenance that needs to happen constantly for these vehicles, and she's very proud of hers.
indeed.
It is a very, very nice one. And so she's probably like in the middle of doing that right now, like checking the timings.
What
and
model
stuff.
car is it?
It is a Husenberg Model I, which is based off the Duesenberg Model J from 1928. I have a write-up of everything because I thought I was going to be quizzed.
Is it a steam or gas car?
No, actually, it is an internal combustion engine. It is an eight-cylinder vehicle that has from again 1928 265 horsepower on it. Top speed of almost 120 miles an hour.
That's a fast car for the time.
Fast car, and that's flat out. In second gear, it can reach up to 89.
Wow. I wouldn't want to do
Yeah.
that in my car. Not.
It was the most powerful vehicle on the road for a long time.
This checks out with Lucy. Right.
Yeah,
So you're in.
it came out this year.
It came out this year. First brought the car.
This
Second
is
it
May.
came
It
off.
came out like 4 months ago.
Yeah. It
It's
came
like
out.
she got like the first.
It's June. So it
It's
came out.
June?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty new. This is like the first like few hundred. Which
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
that,
like a
that
stick,
tracks.
there's like a plate on it that has like, you know, number whatever on it, and it's in the low.
Yeah. Oh, this is one of those ones where it's like signed on a body panel somewhere by
Yeah.
whoever
Whoever
made
finished it,
this.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you're on. I'm gonna say you're on the outskirts of Bellegarde because obviously it's mucky, and you know solid ground is what you prefer to work on when you're working with your car. Given how heavy it is, given how much work you put into it, given how much money you've invested, and how much you enjoy having it around, you'd rather it not sink into the muck.
Yeah.
So you have a few friends around who, sort of do this sort of thing with you as well. You have Lloyd. Lloyd is a panther. Lloyd is a motorcyclist. He is a big fan of his 1927-ish Indian. I don't remember what the model specifically is, but it's one of the more powerful Indian models that came out that year. Not brand new. He's still paying it off, but it's a very, very nice bike, and it's very, very well maintained. There's also Kenneth, who's a cheetah.
Of course.
You gotta go fast.
We weren't gonna get past that we weren't gonna get past that stereotype.
No.
That was gonna come up eventually.
It would have been funnier if it was a hedgehog, though, let's be honest. And you finally have
True.
Virginia, who is a monkey. She's a macaque. She has a great time teasing poor Kenneth over the fact that his car is slowly falling apart, which it is. It's like a production model of 1920, and he didn't do as much preventative maintenance as he probably should have, and it's starting to look a little bit rusted on the edges, but he still loves the car, and obviously it's probably a bit too expensive for him to replace it currently. It's paid off, but he'd rather not go into debt again over it.
Yeah, it's a 1920. That's definitely like some sort of Model T, and those aren't being made as readily now. Model A's are in production
Yes.
for a couple of years.
He's been
so
talking about getting the
more
Model
expensive.
A. In fact, that's the conversation that's going on right now between Kenneth and Virginia. Is Kenneth is going on about, oh, I'd love to get a Model A. I love the Model T. It's been great for me for the last 8 years. And the Model A has all these added features and actual like
No
windscreen
Model T
wipers.
driver ever.
Yeah. Well, it's 1920, so no one knows any different. It's
Yeah, that's true.
1928. No one
That's
knows
true.
like
Model A's got actual lights on it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have It doesn't have like actual. It doesn't use gas for its lighting.
yes, it has actual electricity.
It doesn't use
electric lights.
kerosene.
Yeah, actual electric lights if you'd believe it.
Yeah.
And Lloyd is just underneath his motorcycle working on like some fittings that he's been trying to get to stop squeaking for a little while.
No, this is everybody's talk. I don't think Lucy's very like she's listening passively as she's running through kind of her checklist and everything, like every so often chiming in about the about Ken probably like, yeah, the Model A is good, but have you thought about maybe like saving up for something like really good?
Well, it'd be hard enough for me to get a Model A. I have to sell this Model T, which I won't get much for this thing.
It's not like it's out. It's not like nobody's gonna want it.
I'm sure there's someone out there who'd buy it, that's for sure. It's just, I don't know if
I mean, the economy's booming. The stock market's at an all-time high. Go out to somewhere in like Kansas and sell it to a farmer. They need vehicles there because that's a booming farming industry out there, like in that that whole bowl area. That's never going away. That's gonna be that's gonna be developed for
anyone who's watching this who has any kind of knowledge on the Great Depression is just cackling right now. Anyway, he kind of listens to that.
Lucy
and goes,
comes from a rich family. She doesn't have business acumen. She can't see ahead of time. That's not her thing.
That's not her thing. But also, neither are them. Neither of them are from like. They're not from really, really rich families like you are. They're sort of from a decently well-off background. A lot of them are new money because stock market or one or two of them made money.
She doesn't hold it against them.
Yeah, one or two of them are they were the ones who made the money. Like Kenneth specifically is running a canning. He opened a canning factory that makes a lot of canned goods, fish, meat, that sort of thing. It does very good. He makes a lot of money off of it, and he's pretty frugal with his money. Like he still hasn't bought a new suit, even though he's been saying he'll be buying one for like 6 months now. Virginia's great grandparents like owned a pretty big plot of land in Oklahoma.
Okay, I was gonna say Virginia because that's kind of
no, Oklahoma. They still own it and they're still doing pretty well up there. But like she's decided she wanted to get out of the coop and do all that sort of stuff.
Okay, that also does have connotations because that's the Indian territory, like a couple of decades back. But okay, yeah. And what does Lloyd do? Is Lloyd like a racer or something?
Lloyd's a full-time racer. Yeah, Lloyd's a full-time racer. He makes a lot of money doing it. Yeah. He's a great time. He's won a couple pretty big races around the northeast. Now he's come south because he wants to try a different circuit. He comes here with a bit of a reputation as like very much a daredevil driver, very much one of those guys who will cut a corner even if it might cost him a finger or two. But he's got those 9 lives, and he's yet to use them all up.
Oh, definitely. Lucy reminds him every time he says that. Just goes, no, that's cats. Tigers don't have the 9 lives. That's not.
He's a panther.
That's not. Yeah, I'm saying that.
Big cats don't have that.
Yeah, big cats don't have that. You
only get one.
That's
you fucker.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But Lloyd's
and for context as well, Lucy is a fox, but she is not a red fox. She is a mix between a gray and an Arctic fox. So she's very white,
very pasty,
which means that she is always showing grease and
everywhere.
Stains and everything on her fur because she's always dealing with engines and stuff like that, and always and she never has the top up on her car. Like the body and the engine and everything totally clean, 100%. But like the actual like interior of the car usually has like a layer of dust on it or something like that because she's driving with the top down, so she always has dirt like she has the goggles, very like motor enthusiast, like got the goggles and the leathers and everything, but there's that the stain around where she doesn't have that covering.
Her muzzle is constantly gray, even though it's not a natural color.
Yeah, so very very much that. But no, there's just back and forth, random small talk as she gets that done. Though I think she just pipes in every so often about that, asks what everybody's planning on doing with their week.
Lloyd mentions immediately. Lloyd actually says, well, I'm actually headed out to outside the city because there's been a beach opening, and I kind of want to make an appearance. There's going to be a lot of paparazzi out there, and I got a race in 2 weeks, so I want to be seen,
Oh.
That actually sounds like fun. Kenneth inputs, and Virginia's like, I could use with a nice day on the beach.
Be interesting. I hear further south, beach racing is getting big. So that
across the Gulf in Mexico, it's quite big. Like on the peninsula they have. Says Lloyd, he knows a lot of people who've gone down there and done stuff like that.
I also hear down in Florida, in Daytona and places like that, there's beach racing circuits that started getting up every so often. That's that'd be
a nice weekend trip. Kenneth's inputs, heading out to Daytona for a little while.
I have to get new tires. She just says offhandedly, calculating out how much that's going to cost.
I mean, they're tires. The problem is that your tires have to be specifically made for your car because your car is so damn heavy.
Yeah. Also, they have custom help. The wheel structure is custom for this brand.
You could go to a tire place and they'd be like, "Oh, we don't have anything."
To put a note. Just switch out. I have got a couple of spares. Switch out the tube and put the new tire on top of that, and that's just cheaper than custom ordering a new set.
That might be a thing in the future. That might be a November thing, maybe when the
for everybody's mental picture of this vehicle, think stereotypical luxury car, long luxury car, so long forward engine compartment that has the swooping the
wheel covers,
fenders that go all the way back, and spare wheels on either side are situated in little cutouts on the side on top of the fenders that. It's one of those vehicles. So maybe I think that would be I'll have to think on that. Would you say tomorrow or what later this week you're heading out there?
I'm thinking I might head down tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I have time on Wednesday. I have got an interview tomorrow, so I might mention that I'm going out down to the beach then on Wednesday. Get some paparazzi around, a few shots of me with the bike, that sort of thing. You guys could get a few shots as well if you wanted.
I don't care about the cameras, but it could be good practice. Yeah, I'd be up for that.
That sounds good. And Virginia kind of looks around and says, "Hang on," and she thinks for a few moments. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of something else. No, you're right. Yeah. Tomorrow sounds good. Yeah.
What was that?
No, I thought that I had an appointment tomorrow, but no, it's next week. It's next week.
Appointment for
15th. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right.
This is a general checkup. Got to look after myself,
Oh, appointment. I thought you had a thing.
No. I'm gonna get a quick visit to the doctor, and then I'm getting my fur sorted out. It's an all-day problem,
Yeah.
Looks at the white fur.
The black streaks of grease on it. Yeah. Just wear gloves more.
I don't think it'd help much, Lloyd points out. At least I have the advantage, right? And he does this. He just holds up his two hands. You can't see any grease because his fur is pure black.
Oh yeah, what was I didn't write his
Lloyd's a panther.
Panther.
Yes,
okay.
He's a motorcyclist.
The motorcycle is a tiger. He's a panther.
Yes.
That's where
That's where we got it now. We got there at the end.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Yeah, no, and that's probably what she does for long after everybody else leaves.
Yeah,
Honestly,
cool.
she's been doing that
Awesome.
before
You know
going
what?
probably to some cheapo motel or place. She's not staying in a Ritz or anything.
She's not
like
staying
that.
in a fancy place, you know.
No, I mean she wants to get away from that.
Make us a.
Though for her, like not that good is still really good for like the
Yeah,
average person.
it's like, it's really
she's
cheap.
roughing it, but that's
Yeah.
because she doesn't have like room service. But there's
Yeah.
still like a dining room in the place. That she
Room
gets for
service
a
and your
party.
own personal phone, you know.
Yeah, no, I don't need any of that, but I do want like a continental breakfast like downstairs. I mean, I'm not a barbarian.
Not a barbarian, man. So make me a mind transport roll with your. What gift was it again? It was.
Gift. Driving,
Driving,
which
yeah,
means she
add
gets
driving.
a D12.
Yes, add your driving roll.
Okay, so that is mind is a D8. Transport.
And driving.
It's D8, so 2 D8s and a D12.
Yes.
That is.
Very good rolls.
I built a character. She does one thing well.
She drives.
Yep.
It's about family, Dom.
No.
No. Hasn't gone to that point yet, though I'm pretty sure you could drift your car if you tried. You might die doing it, but you could try.
Jesus Christ.
Drifting a Duesenberg Model J. Ooh.
That thing is quite literally, I think it is 4 tons. I don't know.
I mean, you could try. I'm not saying it
The
would be
engine is
successful.
cast iron.
Oh, yeah. Built on, what's a leaf spring? Suspension?
Cast iron, 8-cylinder, but a straight 8.
Oh, wow. Yep.
It's a straight 8-cylinder. It's 420 cubic inches displacement.
Blaze it.
7.
How that's it. You know,
It's one success.
Yeah, so you change
One
out some
success.
some oil filters, and you're pretty happy with that. And the timings, when you turn the
2 or 3.
do you turn the key in this, or is this a crank start?
Fuck.
Don't know. Damn it!
You stumped me.
I stumped her. I got her.
Hold on.
I got her, guys. I stumped her.
Got him.
Yes, I am successful.
It is a turn. No, it is a crank. No,
Okay.
it's turnkey. It's
Okay,
turnkey.
cool.
It
Turnkey.
has a crank as a backup. I'm
Ah,
looking
I
at a
see.
picture of the thing.
Cool.
It has a crank as a backup.
So
But
you are you going?
yeah.
Do you use the turnkey to when you're testing, or you use crank it when you're testing? Because they probably
Oh,
warn you.
if you don't have to use the turnkey, you don't use the turnkey in these vehicles. Just like with old tanks. Like if it has an electric starter, you don't touch that thing. That is disconnected for as long as you possibly can,
Cool.
and you use a crankshaft because those electrics are. I mean, they're pre-vacuum too. These things are delicate, and they'll burn out if you sneeze on them wrong.
Okay.
So yeah, she's definitely.
So you give it the crank.
She's definitely cranking it, making sure she doesn't break her arm.
Hold it
like,
on, fuck.
a Model T can break your arm. This thing can probably throw you across the room if you're not careful. with
Yeah,
that kind
probably.
of power.
So you give it the crank, and it starts up, and you were hearing a little bit of an off tick when it was idling. It's gone now, so you're pretty happy with that.
Okay, good. Yeah, she does that and just heads off. I guess by herself for the night.
No worries.
I don't know. This garage is probably rented or something like
Yeah.
that. She probably puts up the cost for everybody.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So on your way back, in the outskirts of Bellegarde, there isn't very many, hotels out here. Not very many B&Bs. Not very many bunkhouses. There's maybe 3 places that you can stay. Since you're staying in an upper class one, even though it's not the most expensive one, it's a relatively long walk. But it's nice. It's quiet out. There's lots of stars because light pollution hasn't gotten that bad yet. If you're into that sort of stuff, the moon is really big in the sky. And as you walk, you hear what you believe is cawing, maybe a family of birds cawing for a family member, and then you hear a call back, and it stops. And as you get to your I'm gonna say hotel because it's probably too fancy to be a bed and breakfast or a bunkhouse. You get to your hotel. There is a person waiting for you who you recognize. This is another friend of yours who is a little bit more, shall we say, risque. He likes going out on dates. He likes drinking. He likes gambling. He's got a bit of a danger streak to him. His name is Oliver. He is a Mexican red wolf. He's quite tall, quite handsome for, like, you know, someone of not your species, I suppose, or someone in general. He's quite striking as an individual. And when
Canid, it's close enough.
Close enough. He sees you and he gives you that.
Who's he species?
That's true. He gives you that knowing smirk of like, oh, I've got plans tonight if you're willing to engage. And he walks over to you. Lucy, I got an invite to the Sapphire Eye. I got an invite. Sorry, it's the Amethyst Eye, not Sapphire Eye.
Amethyst. You could have just rolled with it. I would have.
No,
None of us would have.
I need to get it right.
Known it.
I need to get it right. It's important. You get it right. It's important.
Does Lucy know?
You've heard a lot of things about the Amethyst Eye. The Amethyst Eye is the nicest club in town. Serves the best alcohol, has the best singers, the best dancers. It's the best and nicest place in town. It's also well known as the neutral zone. There is no gang violence there. There is no overt aggression because of the fact that anyone who needs to make a deal goes to the Amethyst Eye and no one breaks that rule.
Well,
I'll buy the
she
first
looks at
round.
herself. She looks at herself.
I can wait.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I can wait. I'll buy the
20
first
minutes.
round.
All right, life's short, and she parks and goes and gets ready. Probably not going out to the nines or anything. I think she's probably not her. So very. She's dressed for comfort, not for showiness.
Fair,
Not going there to do that. So I'd say that's not the, the 5 foot long necklace of pearls that was
Yes.
very in style and this,
Yes.
this or anything like that. None of that.
Something a bit more common, a bit more normal.
Yeah, that was fairly normal. They didn't have to be real pearls. It
That's
was more
true.
about the length. At
Yes,
the
it was
time.
more like if you can wrap it up a couple
I
times.
don't know a
and
lot,
use it
but
to
if you're
garrote
talking about
someone.
esoteric knowledge of the 1920s, like random facts, I apparently know a lot about that for some reason.
Okay.
Probably does that. And once she's ready, she goes back down there, gets Ollie or Oliver into. I think she calls him Ollie.
He doesn't mind.
Yeah, I've been writing down nicknames for every one of her friends that she uses instead of
The
instead
real
of their
name,
full
yeah.
names. Yeah. So
No, Ollie
this
doesn't
thing,
mind being called Ollie. He in fact encourages it at times.
Yeah. And one of the rare times she does put the top up
Yes.
on the vehicle and heads out. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
She was gonna have it like a nice night in, but yeah, fuck it.
Guess it's
Why
a
not?
nice night out now.
Yeah, I guess it's a nice night out.
So, Jake, you've had a wee conversation with a few people who know a few things around town, and you have a belief that you've solid evidence, I would say, and a good strong sense of this is probably right, that the person you're looking for will be at the Amethyst Eye tonight with the Parisians who are running a deal. The good doctor, you've made yourself a decent bit of money today, and there is some clientele who like having you wine and dined. You know, they like taking you out and having you have a nice meal, maybe a good, nice glass of actual Cuban rum, which is really, really hard to get. As for Aces, you just like gambling. So Aces, you're heading out to the Amethyst Eye as the tips you got today were quite substantial. You thought that you wouldn't get as many as you did today. You thought it'd be a bit more quiet given it's a Monday, but maybe something happened over the weekend and people have a little bit more money than they thought. So you have left off, your bill money, the money you need for whatever else, rent, all that sort of stuff, and you're taking a not insignificant amount of money to the Amethyst Eye tonight to gamble. You said, you know what? Usually I go to my local sort of dice hole, but today, you know what? I'm gonna try my hand at the roulette reel. I'm gonna try my hand, maybe a bit of poker, maybe, enjoy myself. And you all make your way there to the Amethyst Eye. The Amethyst Eye is on Parisian Row, which is in the middle of the city. It follows the canal or major waterway out of Bellegarde. There are many bridges built across it. Some of them are older, some of them are newer. All of them are pretty well maintained. There are notes for ones that allow large motor vehicles across, namely the flat ones. Those ones allow motor vehicles across. The ones that are humpbacked don't, because you might get stuck on the bridge, which we don't want that to happen. There is parking nearby. It is on a very, very well maintained piece of wooden structure that constantly has pillar gang people looking after it. You all arrive there and you all get in line. Ollie pulls out 2 invitations, hands you one. Lucy. The rest of you are just standing in line as usual. Jake, you get recognized by the bouncer, and he is he gives you a bit of a raised eyebrow, are you here for business or pleasure kind of look.
I approach the gentleman.
Right.
With my paw out to shake his paw.
He extends a hand. You know him. He's a regular here, and you're around as well, obviously.
Just as shaking, the transfer of the $20 note is taken care of, and it's just looking for a friend.
All right, when he pats you on the chest, and you feel like the invitation be pushed into your top pocket. Go on in.
Thanks, buddy.
Of course. You're followed then very quickly by Lucy and Ollie. The only person who has to kind of wait in line is Ace, but Ace gets let in pretty quickly when, they see her, because Ace has a reputation. The doctor, you're brought in with a group of high rollers who are willing to, they've offered you, a few stacks of chips if you want to go out and, maybe try your hand at the craps table or play a hand of poker or some blackjack. They have really good payouts here because, they do this thing where they hit on what they call a soft 17, which is like an ace and a 6, So if you get a 17 and they hit a soft 17, you usually will win, which is a nice thing for the people who are trying to make money off the house, which isn't done everywhere.
Back in the glory days of card counting.
Yeah, because you only used one deck back then. But yeah. So you all get inside. It's very busy in here, but it's not stuffy. There's a lot of grating in the walls that let out a lot of the heat, which is very good, especially given that it's still very hot, even though it's sundown and there's not many things that keep heat retained. It's still very hot down here in the deep south. You all find yourself your usual place. Ollie goes up to the bar and turns to Lucy and says, "Well, what do you be having?" Muted.
Something light and cool. You could drink this air, not in a good way.
He chuckles, and turns to the bartender, and he orders what would be a mojito?
Yeah, you'd have to figure that out.
A mojito.
You're talking
he's gonna order a mojito for you, and he's gonna order himself an old fashioned. And the bartender goes to make the cocktails. Jake, what are you doing?
I make my way to the bar.
Yep.
Preferably an area of the bar that doesn't involve me choking myself.
Please don't do that. That's not very good. Don't do that on stream.
An area of the bar that gives the best view of the rest of the room.
Sure. So the bar is like basically it's a L shape. It's built into kind of the back of the wall in a corner. So you kind of sit, I suppose, on the very next to the wall on the like bottom part of the L. So you can kind of turn around and look around and see what's going on. The bartender comes
And
up to
I
you.
order a beer.
He gets you a beer. Any particular beer? Just a beer.
Cold.
Cold. He gets you a cold beer. It's ice cold beer. He just takes it's like one of those big bottles that are like a pint and a half, and he just cracks it open and puts it on the table next to a glass for you. You pay him, obviously, tip, all that sort of stuff. Ollie tipped and paid for the drink as he said he would. Dr. Schultz, you've been brought to the upstairs area, which is more for food and for sort of conversation. The menu here is extravagant. There's a lot of French, there's a lot of Mexican, there's a lot of, mixes of culture, because it is New Orleans. Sorry, it is Belgrade, it is New Orleans. It's Bellegarde, it is Bellegarde. It is
Bellegarde.
Bellegarde.
We need to remember that.
It is New Orleans inspired, so there's a lot of different culture here. There's a lot of different inspiration for meals. So anything you can really want, you can get here. Everyone's ordering food and drink. You're being how best to put this? You're being buttered up, because these people obviously want to like have you fill out prescriptions for them, but you like the chase. You like making them think that maybe you won't give it to them. It helps up the cost every month on their prescription. There are 4 of them. They're all middle-aged, masculine presenting, all wearing suits, probably businessmen of some nature, you'd say. They're all talking about there's been a real uptick in like pineapple production in California, and I've been thinking about investing a little bit in it. And one of them goes, maybe not pineapple. Maybe we go with like there's this like what's it called, a pepper plant in South California that's had a big uptick. It's called sriracha, I think, something like that. It's been really, really big. It's been really, really, really big for the last few months, and there's been a near constant uptick. So I'm thinking we put some money in that. Just that sort of
With
conversation.
A particularly grim air going, no, I'm going to do bananas, but we're going to take over a country for it.
We're going to take over Panama.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's a lot of the conversation. Is Dr. Schultz getting involved, or is he busy enjoying his meal and his free alcohol?
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
Just enjoying himself, and a good doctor never passes up an opportunity for a little spin on the table.
A little schmoozing, shall we say?
Rolling them dice. He
Indeed.
is not averse to a flutter.
He's not averse to a little bit of card tricks. Aces, what game are you picking today? Everything's there available for you.
Ace is going to go for her favourite, which is poker. 5-card draw.
Cool. Rival's a Texas Hold'em kind of guy, is he?
I would. So am I in real life, but
Aces is aces.
Might have played a bit of Texas Hold'em in my time, and a bit of Omaha.
No, Omaha. Ooh. Omaha's an odd one, but all right, I get it. All right, so you get your 5-card draw. Aces, you're at your table. You've bought in. Have you put all of your money into chips that you brought with you?
no, she's saved a bit. But she's not a gambling addict. She just likes gambling.
Yes.
There's never a
So
problem.
It's a problem. Stop whenever she
it's
wants.
not a problem. She can stop whenever she wants.
Indeed.
But no, she's kept some of it back because you put it all into chips and you've got to spend it all. But if she's having a good nut, but she's got to stop because she's got to get up for work for the morning.
Cool. So, you sat down. Your hands are being played and people are, buying in. These are people you don't know. These are all new people, but they seem very interested in having a new player at their table, and they're, talking about whatever they're talking about. There's a bit of talk about the new sort of beach that's coming to town recently. There's been a big rush about that, and one of them is like, yeah, I went down there with my family the other day, and it was really nice, actually. You know, they did a good job cleaning it up and putting in all of those, you know, seating and some public sort of like shade, and the new trees they put in are really nice. You know, they did a good job down there.
Do they have buses down there? Because I might take my mama.
Yeah, they've got buses. They got a late bus, I think, that comes back at like 11. I think is the latest one.
Oh, she'd like a trip down there. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And like at that point, you have ace high in your hand. You have an ace 7. So you're bluffing, or you're playing, and like he's looking at his hand and then looks at you and then looks at his hand and goes, I fold, and you win the pot. It's not a significant pot. It's like, you know, maybe $15 at most, but it's a pot.
Still.
And $15 back in them days.
That's a lot of money back then. Anyway, at this point, there is a shuffle as people are coming down the stairs above you, Dr. Schultz. There's a 3rd story to this building that people get to. It's like a VIP area. You gotta be somebody who knows somebody, or you gotta be somebody to get in there. Getting an invitation into the 1st or 2nd floor isn't that hard. Getting an invitation into the 3rd floor usually means you're a police chief, a government official, a gangster, or all 3.
Or a millionaire.
Possibly.
Like,
yeah.
You know, they existed back then.
They did.
No billionaires, but they were millionaires.
They were millionaires. There's a few of them around. So yeah, you're rich. Well, to be fair, you know, you can include millionaires in that gangster section if you want to. They're coming down the stairs. There's 3 or 4 people who just walk down, and then they go past you to go back downstairs. At this point, the meal's finished, and like everyone's kind of done their thing. So 2 of them are like, "Oh, I'm going to go down the stairs and buy some chips and maybe play some blackjack." Yeah, that sounds like fun. And the other guy stands up and goes, "Yeah, I go with you." And the other guys are like, "Oh, we're just going to go to the bar over here." So those 2 guys head off to go over to the bar. Are you going to go downstairs and buy some chips and play a bit of blackjack or poker?
Oh, I've got to get on some poker.
Cool. So you head downstairs. They buy you some chips for you. Like, they buy a not insignificant amount of chips for you. You sit down at the table. Unfortunately, it's not the same table as Ace. Her table is full, but you are sitting at a table with your 2 friends, and you're, you know, switching hands here and there. And you see those people who, Jake, you see those people who come down the stairs and walk sort of towards the front door. You recognize one of them as a moonshiner for the Pillar Gang, who is like they are like the underground sort of undersea moonshiners, bootleggers kind of thing, who brew their own, you know, hooch in city. He's talking quite calmly, quite normally with someone who you recognize from a case you did a little while ago. It's a cop. And then a few minutes later, they stop talking, and he turns to leave. The moonshiner does. The cop goes over to get some drinks. He's sitting at the other end of the bar from you. As the bootlegger goes towards the door, there is a bang. And from outside, it looks like someone has shot into the store and has hit this bootlegger in the torso. There's a spattering of blood everywhere. The bullet has gone through his back, and he flops onto his back, breathing but barely. And the entire place erupts in hoodlum.
Does anyone go towards the shot person?
Not currently. Everyone's too busy trying to get out, but realizing that they can't go out through the front door without stepping over his body. So everyone's sort of like scrambled away from him. There is a back door exit where the stage is, where the band was, and everyone is starting to make their way out that way.
I think Lucy calls out, like, on reflex, "Oh my god, is there a doctor in the house?"
Jake vaults over to the other side of the bar.
Smart.
Oh. So So, the Dr. Jim's gonna like perk up. Is like, I hear someone calling for a doctor.
Didn't hear the gunshot, but just turned into her doctor.
Yeah, Jim was in a whole world of his own, too busy on the poker. Like, I mean, okay, let's define just how bad gamblers can be. In Myanmar, there was like illegal gambling dens that were being bullet ridden. Like you could see the bullet holes, and people were still there gambling inside, even while the place was getting shot up.
They're like, I can't lose my hand.
I just need one more try. One more try. Screw the fact that Myanmar government forces are fighting outside with the ethnic insurgency. You know, I gotta win this hand.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's
so,
that
like,
guy's range?
Jim's
He's got
good.
like Jack High, but if he has Jack High, he should have folded. You know, that argument.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, Jim, you jump up. The body, the man is still there. He's still breathing. You can see him struggling to breathe. There's a trickle of blood out of the corner of his mouth. He is a badger. Quite small, quite stocky, well built. He has been shot somewhere in maybe the sternum, like directly through the center of the chest. You can see him attempt to like turn, like he's attempting to like drag himself out of the way, like with a hand. He doesn't seem to be capable of getting his other hand across himself to drag, but he's like digging into the wooden floor of this building and attempting to drag himself away. And he's managing slowly, but he's managing. The cop at this point has his gun out and is pointing it at the door in case someone comes in.
Ace is hiding under a table.
Cool. Jake's behind the bar. The bar staff have pulled out guns as well, and they don't seem to mind the fact that you're behind the bar now. Lucy, you have been grabbed and sort of pulled out of the way by Ollie, who is putting himself between you and the door, like a gentleman should. Schultz, what are you doing?
Yes, I mean I'm at the body, aren't I? I mean I'm
Cool.
going to be trying to render medical aid.
So you get over to the
Like,
body.
I've
Are
got-
you going to attempt to drag him out of the way? Just grab him.
Oh
and-
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
You can make.
Like, I'm a scummy doctor, but I'm still a doctor.
He's still a doctor, man. He still has that, you know, morale. He still has the moral compass to be like, this is a man who has been hurt. I must help him.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm gonna fleece you while I'm at it, but I'm gonna fucking treat you.
Yeah.
I've got just the leeches that can solve this bullet wound.
Exactly.
Okay. So you can make a. I'm going to ask you to make a wrestling roll on this, but since you're doing it to move him out of the way, it's going to be speed, fighting. But you can
Don't I have a gift on this?
You do
Yeah.
have wrestling and contortionist, right?
Got wrestling.
Wrestling. Yeah.
Wrestling.
So since you're wrestling him to move him out of the way, I'm going to assume you've like wrapped an arm around him and you're full snake contortioning him out of the way. You can make a body fighting roll with a D12 bonus. Sorry, make a body athletics roll because you're not actually fighting him. He's not trying to fight you. He's realized that you're trying to help him and you've grabbed hold of him and are pulling him out of the way. So make a speed athletics with a D12 bonus. So a D8,
Right,
a
hold on.
D6, and a D12. Sorry, I'm really enjoying this music. It doesn't really fit the vibe that's happening right now, but it's very good. You got a success. You got a 5 on your D12, a 1 on your D6, and a 3 on your D8. I'm going to say that's enough, given that he is bleeding profusely and is also attempting to help you get out of the line of fire. You quickly get him out of the out of sight from the main doorway. He is bleeding a lot. There is a steady trickle of blood going out of the front door that you can kind of see has like encapsulated over the first step and is now very slowly like pushing towards the second one. You can't see anyone outside, or the people who are outside are people who are, you know, waiting in line. The bouncer is like, he has his gun out and he's he's looking around a lot to see if he can spot whoever the shooter was, but there doesn't seem to be anyone who spotted them. I want you to make a speed academics medicine roll here. So D8, D8, D12. Ooh, that's a bit better of a roll. You got 2 successes. So you very quickly, you don't have your doctor's bag with you because you weren't expecting to have it.
I was out.
Yeah, you were out. But you do, however, have your normal sort of, mindset of, okay, bleeding wound, must pack it with something to stanch the bleeding. So you grab what looks like a cloth from a table nearby and rip it into pieces and start staunching his wound. He is fading fast, even with your very adept and very, very well placed staunching. He has the sunken features of someone who's lost a lot of blood very quickly. He's looking around, darting his eyes, looking for somebody or something. He can't seem to focus. He's stretching a hand out into the air to try and grab something, and then he grabs your shoulder and just and chokes on what you can assume is blood, at which point he dies.
Oh no. Stay with me, boy. Come on, stay with me, boy. Stay with me, boy. Just desperately trying to help out, like doing everything,
Well, I think that's the perfect point for our ad break. What a first half to our first episode. We will be back in 10 minutes with the second half of this episode, so please do yourself a favor. Stand up, stretch, take some meds if you need them. Grab yourself some water, go to the bathroom, grab a snack, do whatever you need to do. We will be back in 10 minutes. Bye-bye.
Hey, come here a minute. Do you need royalty-free music for your TTRPG content, whether that be a YouTube video, stream, TikTok, Instagram post? Don't worry, we've got you covered. My name's Alex. I've been a content creator for almost a decade now, and I've teamed up with my good friend Harry to produce 10 royalty-free songs for you to use in your content completely for free. We've tried to make a whole range of motifs with this album, covering happy music to sad music, to mystery music to combat music. And if this takes off, you know what? We might even make some more. So give the Elendor Chronicles soundtrack Volume 1 a shot. It's free to stream everywhere, and if you want the high quality downloads, you can come over to our Patreon and download them, or you can contact me directly at tabletop@themidgemansworld.co.uk as a creator, and I'll just give it to you for free. That's it, there's no catch, and just to prove it, we've also given you guys a user license agreement to prove that you have the complete perpetual rights to use this content. So enjoy, and good luck on your next adventure. Oh, good day. I'm Martin Sanderson, and I'm the CEO of Avari Military Solutions. We here at Avari know that it doesn't take much to cause problems out on the frontier, whether that be from local pirate raids, neighbouring interstellar powers, or even just an unhappy populace with unreasonable demands. Just what is a small to mid-sized regional power to do when faced with these problems? You look to Avari for your solutions. With open-ended contracts, well-trained personnel, state-of-the-art aerospace forces, and competitive rates, we stand ready to help find the right solution to your problem. So if you have a problem, why not call Avari for your solution? Our operators are waiting to take your call, and consultations are free of charge.
Avari Military Solutions, a solution for your problem.
Avari Military Solutions is not licensed to operate within the Kark and Dre Baronies, the Andes Corps, or any Class A combat zones. AMS is a subsidiary of Omni Radiance Holdings, a family company.
When is a story more than a story? When a tale is more than words on paper? When is an ad more than the script it's written on? In the darkest and deepest annals of our own history, worlds of wonder and splendor burst through like a blister made of hope. from the brain that's wrestled and riddled with madness. A radiant pustule. Writing. Art. That's storytelling. That is the true lust of life. You too can dutifully indulge in art. Like fans of the greats. Shakespeare, King, Tolkien, Seuss, Mercer. You too can indulge through Twitch Prime. Get an extended access to a wealth of knowledge with a simple click, an emotion so small that it could endlessly amount to possibilities. Embrace those feelings. Support art. Support the component cast.
And we're back. So, quick thing. We need to acknowledge the fact that we had a great time, and I'm having a great time because I'm running this game, and it's the first time I've done this in a very long time, and I'm having a great time.
Thank you, Mikey. It's cool.
Right, cool. So,
Are you having a great time?
maybe.
Are you having fun? I explicitly requested it.
Bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine here. Anyway, so a man has just died. A very different total shift here. We gone from Brooklyn Nine-Nine to a man dying, I suppose. The cops quickly rush in. It doesn't take them very long to get here, as the gunshot was not quiet, and there is yelling and screaming, and people can hear that nearby. And there's been a foot patrol noted. 3 or 4 cop cruisers have appeared outside. They're all Model Ts. They're all older cars that have been scrounged from various private owners who have either gifted them at a very low rate or just sold them to the police force here in town. They have basically told anyone that anyone still in the building is not allowed to leave until they've asked questions. So all of you are basically stuck in this building until there are questions asked of all of you, especially Mr. Schultz, who, when the police entered the building, obviously they saw him still with the body attempting to perform medical practices. They know you're a doctor, so they're not questioning malpractice or anything. However, they've gone through everyone now and they're starting to ask questions. The first person to come up for questions is... Sorry, I've just realized. Play the music, Mike. First person who comes up for questions is Jake. You are approached by an officer. They recognize you. You recognize them. You've dealt with them before. Not uncommon for you, given your particular line of work. Their name is Genevieve. They are a raccoon. They have approached you, and they are basically just asking the standard questions like, why were you here? Did you see anything? They don't ask about a license for your gun because that doesn't exist yet. The usual sort of spectrum of questions.
Oh, is this occasion?
You muted, Red. Sorry, Rival.
All right, Jenny.
All right. She gives you this very knowing smirk.
Here on the case.
Okay. No worries. As you say, off the books or on the books kind of situation.
Oh, definitely on the books. Been hired.
Cool.
Find a missing relative.
All right. That's all I need to know.
Oh, good to go. Do you want me to stick around?
Stick around for a bit. We might have need of you, depending on how things work out here.
Fair enough. I'll stay here then.
Next is the good doctor, Mr. Schultz. You're approached by a very well-built, large tiger. His badge says Officer Mackenzie. It says Mackenzie on the little, on the patch on his jersey. Sorry, not his jersey, his uniform. It's not a jersey. I don't know why I said jersey there. A bit weird. He offers a hand and says, my name is Nicholas Mackenzie. I'm a police officer here. I just want to ask you a few quick questions. Good doctor.
Of course, officer. Please.
So, mostly I just want to ask you, the victim, gunshot wound, as we can see, you attempted to apply medical aid, as I can see here. Looks like you did a good job, unfortunately, that it wasn't enough to save the poor man. Have you seen this man before at all? Any visitations that you practice?
Would I have seen him before? That's actually a good question.
Make me a mind observation. So just 2d8s, Utari, please, and thank you. You have one success there, so I'm going to say you have ran into some bootleggers in your time as a doctor practicing the way you do. There's been some sort of rotation in the guys who usually provide stuff to you. Your stuff is obviously medical grade a lot of the time, so you don't really deal with bootleggers directly, but you've had to work with people who maybe, you know, can get you some of the cheaper stuff a bit easier for some of your less well-off clients, you know. This guy specifically, you can't say you've ran into him specifically or dealt with him directly. You'd recognize him. He's a very well-built, like, badger, like, proper wide human being. Human being. Proper wide beast, you know. And he has, like, a lot of, you know, he definitely stand out to you, because, you know, not very many people get that sort of way without work, you know what I mean? And they stand out a lot. But no, you don't recognize him specifically from anything you've done, dubious or otherwise.
I can't say that I recognize this individual. I mean, I may have treated him at some point, but probably I don't recall his face. I've only recently set up practice here a few months back, so I'm sorry, officer. I could not say that I know this man.
He's writing this down quite meticulously in a pocket notebook, and he sort of nods and goes, "Yeah, I expected that. He's kind of well known, you know, as a bit of a ne'er-do-well. But you know, we wouldn't put it past the idea. You know, everyone needs medical care. You know, so I appreciate your time, Doctor. If you wouldn't mind just standing over there," and he points next to where Jake is. Jake is standing at the bar, and then just go. Would you mind going standing over there for a bit? I think one of my superiors might want to ask you a few questions.
Oh, of course.
Then Ace, you are found under the table, still probably, by an officer.
Shivering.
She
is shaking.
The officer is a bear, and he is down on one knee and looks under the table and goes, "Ma'am, are you okay? Are you hit?"
I need to go home. I need to go home to my mama. It's getting late. She's going to expect me.
That's okay, ma'am. Just take my paw here, and we'll get you out of there. Just need to ask you.
She's got her tail wrapped around her. Her big skunk tail is just wrapped straight all around her, trying to comfort her.
Mm-hmm. All right, ma'am. It's okay. Just take my hand here, take my paw here, and we'll get you out of here. And he'll lead you over to where Jake and to where Dr. Schultz are standing. And he will stand with you, and he will ask you a few. He obviously, like, immediately he knows, okay, she didn't do it. She's fucking terrified. But he's just gonna stand with you for a bit and, like, try to calm you down, because he says, "I don't want to let you leave yet, ma'am, just in case there's someone still out there. We're just double checking. We'll let you go as soon as we can. Don't worry, we're all okay here." And then we go to Lucy. Lucy, you and Oliver are actually standing relatively near where everyone else is at this moment. Oliver has pulled out a cigarette, offered you one. He's smoking.
She works with chemicals that ignite all the time. She's not a smoker.
She's like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. Not taking the risk."
Nope. Nope.
So he starts smoking.
There could be residual fumes on my fur. I don't want to go through.
Imagine. Just the strike of a
I don't
match
want to go through with a bare muzzle for a summer again.
He just sort of he chuckles and just starts smoking casually. You are approached by an officer, a rabbit who approaches you, and he asks a few very simple questions and then goes, "Okay, would you just mind standing over there with that group? We'll filter you all out pretty quickly." And when you go stand with them, you see that basically everybody else has already shuffled out of the building. The bear who was holding Ace's hand has had to go and actually do some work. But you know, he got you a blanket, and you're comfortable there at least. The body's been covered. There's a medical team coming in to remove him. You see an ambulance outside, like what probably is just a converted truck. But hey, it's better than nothing. At this point, the madame of the premises comes down from the second floor. Let me just find her name here. It's in here somewhere. Nope, not there. Where is the name? I'm sure I had this written somewhere. Ah, yes. Yes. Her name is Lady Leon Lamont. She is a 6'7" gator, out of heels, wearing a very fancy, very plumey dress. Lots of like frills and, you know, pearls, and there's a few diamonds, but the big thing is she's got this giant amethyst pendant hanging right between her chest. Well known to be the namesake of this building. She opened this building back in 1903-04 and has ran it basically ever since. The highest ranking officer is talking to her. They are talking back and forth, and then after a while she approaches the group and goes to the doctor first and says, "Doctor, thank you so much for attempting to save the life of that poor man. You have our gratitude as the Amethyst Eye. If you ever need anything from us, you come and say hello to me, okay?"
Thank you, but I am very sorry I was not able to do more to save this poor soul.
It's a dreadful business. It's just a dreadful game to be in. And she looks at the group, and as the police start to filter out, she looks at Jake and goes, "Mr. Bullet, correct? I've heard of you."
Yeah.
We need somebody who is not associated with the police or a gang to investigate this case. I cannot have men murdered in my building without any repercussions. I'm willing to pay you 10 times your usual fee rate, with expenses, and anything you need.
I'm not in the revenge business.
That's not revenge, it's just I want to know who and why. You don't need to do any killing. I just need to know who and why.
Well, I'm already on a case looking in for someone else at the moment.
Well, the offer's there, and I don't know anyone else who has your particular set of skills at the moment.
And if you knew anything about me, you'd know it's not about the money.
I'm aware. But I wanted to let you know that this is a deal incredibly personal to me, and I feel like the reward should justify the desire.
I would be more receptive to you offering me favors.
I can do that too. Expenses, of course, should still be covered and such, but if you need a few favors, I can open a tab, shall we say.
I'll need free reign to ask any questions of any person. I'm gonna be butting into some of your personal business.
That's to be expected. And she reaches into a grab bag and pulls out a pin in the shape of a eye that's amethyst colored and hands it to you. Wear that, and my men, my boys, anyone around here will answer any question you need.
I'll see what I can do.
Of course. And of course, the rest of you here, the good doctor and the speedster, as she says to Lucy, and the gambler, the talker, she says to Aces. All of you should consider my offer. It is open to all of you. If you want to work, she's like, she does this like, kind of sets back a little bit at your.
This is the most interesting thing that Lucy's had to deal with for like a month, and so this is.
She does that like thing where she's
like,
like,
the week is going to be going to a beach.
She's a bit surprised at the what's the phrase, at the excitement, the exuberance at it, but she goes, "I like your gumption," and
Bully.
At this point, a reporter walks in, who is not stopped by the cops and also not stopped by her. He is this 5'9", 5'10"-ish monkey, macaque, maybe something like that as well. He's carrying a old like photographic camera on his chest with like a big notebook in his hand, and he's taking notes. He looks around and goes, I see I've just made it on time. And behind him follows a crocodile. Benoît, she says to him. Pleasure to have you here. As you can see, we need some of your keen eye and good old Everard. Your muscle, we might be required of it. And he tips his hat. Yes, ma'am. As is required of me when you come a calling. You will be more than likely shadowing these folks if you are in need of anything, if you require Benoît here to spend some time researching, spend some time looking stuff up. He's a great man for that sort of thing. He will take things off your hands that you need to get done that you do not have time to do. I trust him implicitly. Same with his friend Everard here. Jake, you've heard of Benoît, Lessoile, and Edward Cameroux. Both of them are, well, Benoît is more well known because of his reporting, but Everard is sort of known as the guy who bails Bennett out whenever Bennett gets into trouble. They're good friends. They've been friends for a long time. Benoît met Everard in the war. They were both, well, Benoît was a military, reporter, while Everard was actually a Tommy. He was in the trenches. They met fairly early on in their time over there. And they've grown to close friends, and they've been together ever since, basically.
I'll consider your offer, but I'd like to go home now.
Of course, ma'am. We'll drive you home.
Thank you.
And when you step outside, the cop cars are gone, and there's like a few cars parked, except probably there's not one parked for Lucy. She's her own car. Obviously, she needs to bring home. But everybody else has a car parked, and they can get back to their abode very quickly. You go ahead.
The doctor would have responded to the offer of the deal, finding out who done this by explaining, I'm a doctor, not a detective. I mean, if I can be of any assistance medically to anyone, I'm always available, but I don't know how much help I'll be with regards to finding people.
Well, Leon sort of turns to you and goes, well, you do a little bit more than just doctoring in that practice of yours, don't you?
Well, I mean, I see it as a care of a kind, even if it may not necessarily be distributing pills. It's still medicinal in nature. You understand that?
You don't need to explain the deal to me, Doctor. I'm just saying.
But it still doesn't relate to detecting any. I'm not saying that I'm ungrateful for the offer, simply that I'm probably not very well suited. But as I said, anything else that I can assist with, especially of a medical nature, I'm always available.
Well, Doc, you're doing what they want you to do just now. They're lying. You're pretty good at that, aren't you?
I don't know what you mean about lying. Like, I'm not denied that I'm assisting people in ways that that other doctors may not necessarily be assisting, but that's not a lie to say that.
You've covered
I'm not
yourself for
doing
long
any
enough,
wrong.
Doctor, that you get acquainted with it. You're pretty good at it. You've not been caught yet, so you gotta have some sort of sharp tooth, sharp tongue about you.
Sure, but again, I'm just simply saying that's not necessarily helpful for detecting a person.
It can help you get what you need to know.
I'm more than happy to help someone more like this esteemed person right here who sounds like he knows a thing about finding a fella. I'll happily assist in ways that I can.
That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to learn how to sharpshoot or anything, Doc.
Yet.
Yes.
Actually, before Ace goes out the door, Mr. Bullet, was it?
Yeah.
May I have one of your business cards? I work a lot of jobs where I hear things.
Bullet reaches into his top pocket, takes out a card, and hands it to her.
Thank you. If you need to talk to me, I'm usually at Joe's Diner between 9 and 4. And then I'm at my house from 4 till 7. And then from 7 until 10, I'm usually at the Purse and the Price. It's a speakeasy near where I live. I work there too.
I know where it is.
At this point, you all disperse back to your various abodes. It doesn't take long to get home, given you're being brought home by a vehicle, or in Lucy's case, you're driving home. Streets are quiet this time of night, especially after a shooting.
Except any that Lucy's on.
Yep. Anyway, you all pull into your abodes. You all go out. Oliver does not ask implicitly if you want him to stay or if he should go home, but he is sort of hovering on that.
Yeah, he protected her. He protected. Yeah, might as well.
Might as well. Something to cuddle.
Might as well.
You know?
Hey, yeah,
Right. Well,
he deserves it.
he deserves. He's earned it for being a gentleman.
Yeah.
So you take him inside.
Doesn't stay the night because
No.
she's. Because I mean that create rumors and she can't have that.
Yeah, I can't have those rumors spreading. You know.
No.
But you know, he's around for a bit and then he's gone, as to be expected. Then you all get to bed. Some of you sleep probably better than others, given some of your histories. Others, maybe not sleep at all. Maybe you're too busy mulling over cases. Maybe you're busy mulling over certain things in life right now. Aces, when you get home, your mother, she is worried that you were home a bit later than usual, but she doesn't seem to be like, how do I put it? She's not like, super like energetic about it. She sees you come in and she just lets out like a relieved sigh of you coming in, and then it's like, you know, there's food on the table, there's you know, that sort of stuff, and she goes to bed now that you're home, unless you stop her.
Mama, can I have a hug?
Oh, of course, my darling. And she comes over to you and gives you that big hug that she's so used to giving you.
I saw some things tonight again.
Oh, I'm sorry, darling. She pets your head. You did, however, come out of the poker game with more money than you went into it with, which might be because someone got shot.
Fucking one.
Yeah. It's a rare case for you. But hey, you got something out of it.
Yeah, and then her mama would call her Lily Rose, and then she would go to bed and try and get some sleep.
Mm.
Might have some lavender oil or something to.
Cool. It's going to be a very caffeinated morning, I'm thinking, for Lily Rose. With that, everyone gets to bed. Next morning rolls past. There is an article in the news about the fact that someone has been shot at the Blue Rose. The last time that happened was before... Sorry, not the Blue Rose. The Amethyst Eye. Sorry, Blue Rose was something else I had in mind. Someone's been shot at the Amethyst Eye. This has not happened since before Prohibition, since even before the Great War. There's always been a general rule of thumb in Bellegarde that if you are in town, you do not mess with the Amethyst Eye. Next day rolls around. Rival, you are approached in the morning at your office by the man that you were told to look for.
Morning.
Hey,
you?
Yeah, sorry, I got dragged out of town and I forgot to leave a note or call. I'm sure my aunt has paid you to find me. She told me to tell you to keep the money. And I'm sorry.
Oh, lucky for you, another case came up, so...
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna ask.
Just thought maybe stay away from the people you're talking to right now.
Yeah, I'm one to agree with that. Yeah, I've already told them I won't be back. So yeah, thanks for that advice.
You may want to tell your family you're leaving town for a few days.
Yeah, I already have. Yeah, that's why I'm here, because I wanted to tell you that I was back and I'll be leaving again. So yeah, I'm out. Bye, and he leaves.
How convenient.
It's almost like it was written like that.
It's almost like it was planned.
Another job well done.
Easy
That's
fucking
why
money.
Jake Bullet's the best in the business.
Yep. Another one to add to the completed list.
Real Zap Brannigan moment.
Yep. It's just that
Like the meme from Sailor Moon with the guys. My work here is done.
Yeah.
But you haven't done anything.
Yeah, that one's great. Love that one. My favorite Zap Brannigan meme is the one of him looking over the Fallout New Vegas map where he draws a line from Good Springs to
This
New
route's
Vegas.
got some chest hair.
Yeah, he draws it through the Deathclaw infested quarry.
Straight shot.
Yeah, it was very funny. Love that meme. Anyway, Lucy, you're awake. You had a fairly alright night's sleep, given everything. Your continental breakfast is as good as always. The coffee's pretty good.
It's not the best, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Does the job, you know. It's fine.
Yeah.
You realize at this point you don't have any way to contact Jake. You forgot to get his business card.
Right. Oh, you know what? Concierge.
Ah, you see now. Smart. Because this is an upper class hotel. Even though it's not the top class hotel, it will have a concierge.
Yeah. Jake Bullet. I don't know if that's his real name. P.I. Yeah, right. A number. Address. I want to get out of the house. I want to get out of the town.
Of course, madam. And he will go do that. He will go look for that for you.
However they did that back then.
He probably finds he probably has to call like someone and be like, hey, is there a registry here for this Jake Bullet guy? Apparently he's a
I don't
PI.
know if there's a phone book at this point. I don't think there is, because there's not necessarily a phone number. It's just an exchange. It's just a telephone
might be just
exchange,
might be just picking up the phone and going,
might
hey,
have
operator.
a business listing.
Business listing possibly. Maybe there's a advert in the newspaper for Jake Bullet Private Eye.
Does Jake Bullet have enough money to buy out ad space on the
I mean,
local
he's
newspaper?
wealthy, so possibly, yeah. He could do it.
Oh,
if he wanted
right.
to. Yeah.
Right,
Right, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the concierge comes back after a few minutes and hands you a piece of paper with an address on it. This should be him, man.
All right. And yeah, I guess. Yeah, she doesn't really have anything else to do today, so that was. She's got at least a couple of days before she has to go to the beach, like she said she was going to. So this is going to be fun until then.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be interesting until then.
This will be fun.
Yeah. So no, she heads on over to the listed address.
Cool.
I get. Parking. Shit.
So while you're on the way there,
yeah.
the good
that's what
Dr.
I'm thinking about.
Schultz.
Do
The good
that.
Dr. Schultz. Your appointments today are actually appointments. There are a few people who come in with like
Oh God, it's I have to actually treat people
work with people.
rather
Oh
than
my goodness.
prescribe booze.
Yeah.
Damn.
There's someone who comes in who's like had a slip and a fall at work.
Blood's haunted.
Blood's haunted.
Yeah.
Moon's haunted. Rax pistol. You
Do heroin about that.
You should do heroin about that. Yeah. Here's some unrefined opioid. Have fun.
This'll cure what ails you.
How would you like some cocaine?
How would you like proto cocaine?
Yeah.
Yep. How would you like some
Syrup,
Coca-Cola?
powder, or candy.
Yeah. How would you like actual cocaine in your Coca-Cola? Anyway. So
I think that was removed by the 1920s.
I don't think so. I think it was the 30s.
It never had cocaine in it. It had coca leaves.
Yeah. It was close
It
enough.
was never cocaine. It was coca leaves.
Yes.
Which technically were mild. It was a mild narcotic.
Yeah.
If you took a lot of it.
What the fuck are they putting in this Coke? Violently shaking.
If you drank the syrup directly, yeah. But if it was in a soda format, which is how it was made back then, like an old soda fountain, you were
Yep,
fine.
You were fine.
Unless you drank like, a 12-pack or something like
Yeah,
that.
back when
Maybe
you
a
had to
little
go
less.
Back when you had to go to a dedicated bar to get your soda.
Yes.
Yeah, there's one place in the United States that still does that.
There
up in
is.
New York.
I've seen videos of it. It's pretty
I've
good.
heard
absolutely.
it's not good. It's not as good as you would think it is. The nostalgia is there, or the like having it done is the cool
Yeah.
part. But
The actual
everything else,
visual
like,
of being like, oh look, they're putting syrup into a drink and then putting carbonated water in it and then putting a thing of ice cream on it. Oh, that's cool. And oh, it's not great.
Hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wouldn't mix properly.
Well, that's the thing is the soda is really like between every glass, it's like because you're just spotting it. You're like going like, yeah, it's good.
That's good.
So the
That'll do.
carbonation's never really great, and it always goes flat really quick and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
Regular root beer floats though, really good.
yes,
That is
I will agree. Root beer floats are very good. So your morning is spent actually. Well, your first hour or hour and a half of your morning is spent like
Being a doctor.
being a doctor, basically giving out prescriptions for actual medications, and the odd like physical examination of someone who maybe had a fall at work or someone who had a little bit of a blackout. You know, usual sort of things that happen in the 20s, and you're usually like, oh, here's some whatever for this and for that, and here's some leeches to balance your humors. And then as your sort of early lunch comes around, because you have to. You try to make sure that you keep yourself as healthy as possible. Obviously, you're dealing with a lot of sick people constantly. You gotta look after yourself. There is a note that comes in with your lunch from your receptionist. Usual lunch, your coffee, your sandwich, your bit of fruit and veg, usual sort of stuff. And the note has a single letter written on it. It's just a C. So a capital C written in very nice filigree letter.
I'll open the note.
In the note is very, very fancy handwriting. Like someone who's been properly taught how to write, like in cursive, which, not a big thing these days, but back then it would have been a very, very common thing to see very fancy cursive, especially in someone who maybe grew up in money. It is from Curtis. Who has basically said, I will be out of town for a while. My boys will make sure that anything they need goes through you. thank you again for the treatment. It has helped immensely. And there is then a note at the bottom in a PS that goes, P.S. If you hear anything about the shooting last night, let me know.
Oh.
And now we get to Ace. Ace, you're in your morning shift. You are probably tired as fuck. The girls in the back have seen how tired you are, and they are constantly pouring you fresh coffee. There's enough coffee in your system to probably hardwire a car right now. But your normal morning shift is pretty good.
Well, the girls in the back also know what happened because one of my gifts is gossip. So to get gossip, one must gossip.
This is true. You must exchange tea. As it is.
The tea must be spilled, and it must be sweet, because when you're Bellegarde.
Yes, when you're in Bellegarde, the tea must be sweet tea. Anyway. Yeah, so you're exchanging bits with the girls in the back when there's not a big rush. The breakfast rush wasn't as bad as you expected, probably because some people who would usually be out and about just having breakfast aren't. There's also a few other people who you know from, morning shifts, maybe who don't go out as early as they probably would have if it wasn't for the fact there was an active shooter last night. There's a few other bits and pieces that might influence things, but you're fairly... It's not a peak and then a dip. It's nearly a constant sort of normal level of activity. Your regulars come in, they see you're there, they're kind of relieved to see you, because they know you're a bit of a gambler, you like to gossip, and they like gossiping with you about gambling. So, they're happy to see you there. You do see that... Well, you probably keep an eye out for that jackal, and you don't see him. He doesn't come in this morning. Which, you only saw him yesterday. Maybe he was just in town for a day. Maybe he was just around for a bit. You do, however, see a panther come in who got off a motorcycle. He comes up to the front bar and sits down and orders a coffee, a full breakfast, and a sundae. Bit of ice cream. For breakfast, It's Lloyd. Who knows? He looks up at you when you come over and goes, "You alright? You look a bit tired."
Oh, I had quite the evening, and not in a fun way. Did you hear about the shooting at the Amethyst?
Oh, no. I had been out of town. I was asleep until about... He looks at the pocket watch in his pocket and goes, about 30 minutes ago. Kind of live out in the outskirts, so I didn't really hear much. But there was a shooting at the Amethyst Eye?
Yeah, apparently it's the first one that's been in ages and ages. I mean, I didn't see anything. Basically, I heard the shot and I hid.
Oh wow, you were there? That's wild.
I like how to play cards.
Oh, right, yeah, makes sense.
But no, it was quite terrifying. Do you want your sundae after your breakfast?
Please, yeah. So he was a bit shocked by that initially, and now has kind of like been jotted back into real life. There was people listening. You can obviously tell there's people around you listening to how you're talking about things, and when you mentioned that you were there, there's like a murmur of people. You can feel free to make a mind observation with the streetwise and gossip questioning. Yeah.
Well, gossip I don't think works.
Gossip is questioning, yeah. Streetwise is observation. I will say, yeah, you can definitely do You can definitely do streetwise with this.
Okay. Cool. That looks like it was quite bad.
Actually, no, it was pretty good. You have 3 successes there with
Okay.
an 8, with an 8, a 4, and a 5. So
Nice. Okay.
yes, very, very good, very, very good. So with 3 successes, what you get is there is a group of people sitting in a booth who look to be business people. You think you recognize one of them from last night. Might have been around a different table with the doctor that you remember talking at the end of the night. He's talking about how Dr. Schultz acted so bravely, and there was like, he immediately drove in to help this poor man who'd been shot, and he then talks about the fact that there had been this sort of tension that he remembers that had been brought up by like the fact that the Pillar Gang, who sort of run the underground bootlegging areas, they're not necessarily a legitimate gang in the eyes of the city, because they're sort of everywhere, and being a Pillar Gang member, that's sort of, it's not really how you do things. Basically this guy isn't really gang affiliated. He's not got an, I'll put it this way, it'd be like a doctor who has a patient who's coming back constantly for prescriptions, and maybe they've been a family doctor, they brought in a few friends, and then you saying you don't want that patient around anymore because they're not, I don't know, tall enough or something. It doesn't make any sense. Because this guy is there keeping the price of booze at the level it's at, because it's difficult to bring booze in at times, and with those guys producing alcohol beneath the city, it makes it a little bit easier for us to stay on our feet, that way. It's very, very weird. And then the second bit of advice, the second bit of information that you get, let me grab my notebook here, because this bit of information is going to be something I need to get dead right. Let's see. So, a little bit further into the day, there is a beaver and a otter talking. They are both getting lunch. To them, it's breakfast. They've obviously done either a late shift or they're up late. And you're talking to one of the regulars about the fact you were at the Amethyst Eye last night and there was a shooting, and then as you're walking past them, you hear them saying, "Oh yeah, didn't we hear or see somebody running down the alleyway on Paris Row and 7th, I think." "Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, there was we were doing some maintenance under that section, and there was a sound of running. I didn't hear anything else though." And then the third bit you hear is a little bit later. It's more of a post lunch rush thing. The cop who was helping you comes in. He sees you immediately and is like, "Oh, hello, ma'am. I see are you doing okay?"
I've certainly been better, officer. Can I get you a coffee or
Can I get
anything to eat? It's on the house.
No. Can I get a full lunch and a coffee and a Coke, please, as well?
Of course.
Sorry,
of
would they call it a Coke here? It'd be a Coke, right, in this part of America? Because I know it's pop, it's soda, and then it's Coke in some places too, right?
Well, Coke's like a brand name, so.
Well, they call it.
That doesn't.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't
doesn't
matter.
mean anything.
Yeah, certain parts of America call every soda a Coke, and then they go, "Okay, what do you want?"
I know this. I know where it is right now, but I don't know in the 1920s if that would have mattered, because Pepsi didn't exist.
That's
or
true. Yeah.
anything,
So you just ask for a Coke. It's the only thing on tap, basically. That's carbonated.
Yeah, they'd say that, or give me a soda water or something like that, or
Yeah.
something like yeah.
He's like, "Just give me a Coke as well, please."
Of course. Have you found the guy who did it yet?
Well, I know I shouldn't really be talking to you about this, man, but we suspect there's 3 people who we have a sort of, a feeling on. There's 3 people who have motive and incentive who we think we can act on. However, we haven't got any hard evidence yet, but we're working on it. We'll get him soon.
Oh, that makes me feel a lot better. You're not paying for the coke. I'll get that for you, but I'll.
As long as you're
get
sure
your
with it,
lunch
ma'am.
and
As
coffee.
long as you're sure.
You helped me so much last night.
Yeah, of course. You're welcome, ma'am. I mean, it's my job. I do, and you know, I gotta help the people. And that's all the information you get, but it's some good information.
Can I, as I'm serving, can I go over to the beaver and the otter
Yes.
and see if they actually saw, you know, it doesn't need to be species, but saw a height or how fast they were running, because there's a difference between a cheetah and a sloth, and
That's true. So
Right. If it was a sloth, they'd still be on the bloody site.
they would be.
correct.
They'd be. Well, they might be hanging around underneath it, because you got to remember this basically whole thing is built on a layer of like wooden structure. So it would be impossible for someone to be hanging around underneath it. But they sort of look at each other and go, no. They were kind of running at a regular pace though. Like they wouldn't be any faster than anyone I've ever known. It wasn't like what's his name? Oh, I've seen him before. Kenneth, he's around. He's a fast runner. Drives that old Model T I've seen around.
Oh, the cheetah fella.
Yeah, him. Definitely wasn't that fast, but it wasn't like, you know, slow, and he didn't sound very heavy. Like he didn't sound like, you know when you hear like me and my friend here, obviously being underneath the deck and doing maintenance, we've heard like, you know, bigger animals, bigger beasts running, and it's a bit different than hearing, you know, a normal sized creature running.
So he wasn't like a bear or an elephant or anything.
Nah, he was probably like a normal-ish sized person.
Thank you. I'm just trying to find out what I can, because I was there and it's just put the jitters into me a little.
No worries. And that's all the information they unfortunately can give you. They don't really have anything else, as they were underneath the decking at the time.
Did the paper say the name of the victim?
Would it have? In this time? Probably, yeah, given he's dead. His name was Wilbur Hatch. What did I say he was? He was it wasn't a honey badger, it was just a regular badger. That's right, he was a badger.
It was a badger.
He was a badger.
Not a honey badger.
No. He wasn't a mean
Badger.
Fuck you. I got you. Okay. So, at this point, I'm going to say that, Lucy, you showed up outside of the office block that, the building. It's not an office block. That's not a thing in this era. You're outside the building that has the registry for Jake Bullet, PI. There is a regular door entrance. You assume that maybe you have to go up a flight of stairs and maybe find a registry inside. You know how these pores do things.
It's not that bad. Nothing's wrong with Kenneth.
That's true. Kenneth is pretty nice. Kenneth is alright. Alright guy.
Yeah. No, she finds a place to put her vehicle. Takes the key with her, as well as the ignition coil out of it.
Yep.
Because I don't know how you would actually stop somebody doing that. Because it'd have to be just getting the ignition coil out. Because if it's a crank, then
Anyone can come up
even
with a
take the
crank
key.
and do it like.
Yeah. So I did check it. It does have a key.
Cool.
Primary.
So you've taken out the key and you've taken the ignition coil with you.
Yeah, stuffing that
In the
stuffing
bag.
that in her handbag.
Yeah.
Wonder if they had something like a steering wheel lock or something like that.
Possible.
You know, some of them you still had to have a key to unlock the crank, start for it. Like it didn't start the vehicle, but it did unlock something.
Basically allowed the electrical system to actually still send electrical power around.
No, it was more mechanical. Like it
Like a
was
lock over the crankshaft hole, basically.
Yeah, you still had to have a key for it, which I mean, not necessarily that hard to get. Like you could just, bash open the cover.
Jimmy it,
Yeah, but I think that was kind of the idea behind it. That, and also like most common people didn't know how to drive.
Yeah, that's true. It's
Like
not common
if you didn't
to
have a
drive
vehicle,
this.
you didn't really know how to drive, and
Yes.
Literally none of the people in the last campaign we did knew how to drive.
Yep.
exactly. So
One figured it out.
Eventually.
yeah. So yeah,
We
But
had
yeah,
a
no,
driver, why would we?
Yep.
but yeah,
It wasn't like the
yeah.
boss was actually in charge.
she takes that and heads up towards where the registry gets like what door number or something.
Yeah, sure. So you walk inside, and
his
it's just a
offices.
normal sort of apartment block that has, offices that have taken up maybe the top 5-ish floors. Mostly like accountancy, a bookmaker, and a writer, and then there's the PI office that you can see. Jake Bullet, PI, 4th floor, 30.
Frosted glass door.
Yep.
With black letters.
Probably the most expensive part of his entire purchase, but then again, he is rich, so he can afford it.
Shadows of blinds coming across the wall.
Yeah. The smell of cigarettes, assuming he smokes, and whiskey, and probably
Yeah.
other things wafting from out the door.
Angst.
Angst. Depression. The big depression hasn't hit yet, but the regular depression is still around.
Hold stakes in case of when you get punched to put them on.
Yeah, the ones that are sitting in
it's
your
just snack.
icebox.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, you're a wolf, so definitely, yeah, primary.
Nom nom.
Right. Well, I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
obligate.
they are carnivores, so.
I don't know if they're obligate or strictly. I don't know if they're, but whatever.
Yep.
I know foxes can be omnivores, so.
As needs must.
Foxes
Yeah.
eat whatever
Yeah.
is around.
Whatever they can
Yeah.
find is delicious. So yeah, there's a door there.
She knocks.
Jake, you in?
Are you awake?
Oh, he's awake. It's more a case of, can I get any work done today?
No.
Yeah.
Hear like the doorknob jiggle a little bit, just testing it, and it's like, oh, it's in. And yeah, you see the white fox from last night, in her pretty normal daily clothes, different than the last one, which is her driving leathers, and an oddly shaped handbag with like an ignition coil shaped.
Thing
Release the
sticking out
ignition
of it.
coil.
I know you might not know this, but it is a very expensive vehicle. Keep it. I don't want it going anywhere. Unless I'm the one taking it.
Right.
Let me tell you, no one's getting one of these without a lead time of 2 weeks.
I'll take that bet.
He pulls out the phone and is like, "All right, listen.
I need a Husenberg Model I.
Yeah, I just need to borrow it. You can have it back tonight.
Remember, this is during the Legacy when the engines were made for that vehicle only. And so
This
that
is true, yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have like X engine model. It is a like the real one is a Duesenberg Model J engine. It's the same name, just engine.
Cool.
So yeah, then she comes in.
Anyway, what can I do for you?
Well, I volunteered for whatever this is going to be, and I didn't have anything else going on today.
So you want to be my driver?
I assumed that was going to be a part of what I was doing.
Okay, do you know anything about the guy that died?
No,
Does she know anything?
you know
No.
nothing about him.
Nope. Honestly, that was the first time I've even been in that club.
Alright. Well, I've managed to get the guy's name. So, first stop, Hall of Records.
All right.
Probably go and talk to the doctor. He was there talking to people he probably shouldn't have been talking to. Not entirely sure if our skunk friend is going to be involved. Seemed too terrified. And was more interested in getting home to her mother, which notes someone who is family oriented, not the kind of person to get involved with illegal and nefarious activities. And then there's you, who seems more interested in getting the next adrenaline rush than...
This is interesting. All right. This is much more interesting than back east.
Adrenaline rush is. Okay. Alright, let's go talk to our skunk friend. See if
You know,
she's-
they're trying to put a speed limit in Pennsylvania and New York and Gothic. It's
Really? That's
it's ridiculous.
probably being enforced by people like you. You fishtailed around that corner.
Kidding me? This thing there. She couldn't do that if she tried. on a wood slat road with a 3-ton
Why not?
vehicle. Fishtailing this thing would be like you'd kill someone.
All you need to do is lose a bit of traction. And I'm giving you props for driving ability.
It is something I am good at.
There you go. So, we'll go talk to our skunk friend, see if she has any information now that she's calmed down and has spent a day at work, probably talking to absolutely everyone who will listen to her. And then we'll go and talk to the doctor. And then if we've got time today, all the records.
Sounds good. Where's the skunk at?
Works at the local diner up until 4, goes home to see her mum between 4 and 7, then goes to the person Price to work in the speakeasy.
Okay. Is Lucy familiar with that diner? If not for her own experiences, just for friends going there often or anything?
I thought Mikey was frozen then he blinked.
Yeah, I did too.
Just
I know you're not frozen though because your camera has a slight jitter to some of the scan lines.
yeah, because the
So I can-
LEDs are on and they have the same refresh rate.
Yeah, so I can tell you're not frozen. But yeah, is Lucy familiar with the diner that Ace is
It was
normally
Joe's diner.
working at?
I mean,
Does
I'm sure
her friends
that,
go there?
Yeah, I'm sure that Kenneth and Lloyd have talked about it. They always say that they have great breakfast there, though you've always had breakfast in the hotel because continental breakfast is very good.
Yeah. You know how specific my dietary needs are? She says that as a fox who has no specific dietary needs whatsoever.
Yep,
You're a fox.
you're a fox. What dietary needs do you have? 0.
As long as it fits into your mouth, you can probably eat it.
True.
Well, that's highly insulting.
Says the
Get in
wolf,
the car.
who could probably eat anything that doesn't fit in his mouth.
Oh, I'm a wolf. Basically, if it bleeds, I can kill it. I can eat it.
That's true. It's delicious.
Her normal dinner is a porterhouse.
This normal dinner is still screaming and begging for mercy.
No, please, no.
And if anybody back there is wondering how this nutritional system works in this world, given the fact that it's anthropomorphic animals, we don't know either.
The way I've always
We're
We're
never
making
figured it out.
shit up.
Because I can tell you, Mikey doesn't know because it's in the same world that I created.
Well, I like to think there's a lot of people who eat fish because fish
And
still
I-
exist and they're not anthropomorphized, so a lot of fish eaters. Salmon
Yeah.
is very,
We'd
very
also
fucking good.
decide on bugs the size of cows,
Yeah.
but Roach nixed that idea.
Yeah.
Technically, if this happens in a similar system to how Ironclaw works, it's dinosaurs.
Oh.
Essentially.
I mean, sure, yeah,
We
why not?
eat dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially in the Ironclaw, there's no horses or anything like that. So because horses are like people, you could just be one. So instead, they just name a lot of like horse breeds after like essentially giant cold-blooded lizards. And so like you have those as like a thing. There's artwork of it and everything.
That's
So I mean
pretty
that
cool.
can work.
It's pretty cool, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It works.
Or I guess warm-blooded lizards, since that's what a dinosaur is, or semi-warm-blooded.
My pedant streak says that birds are dinosaurs, though.
Well,
But
I mean, they
descended
exist.
from
I
dinosaurs.
mean, let's be honest here. People eat monkeys, and we're primates. So, I mean, we don't have much of a problem with that.
That's true.
Well, I mean, okay, no, a lot of people do have problems with, let's be honest. A lot of people have a major problem with that, but culturally, there are places where it's not a problem. So, I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah, we won't go
yeah.
there. That's not our part to discuss.
it's not a thing. People are eating steak. What the steak's made out of, or if it's red meat or something, who knows?
It's pink meat.
But yeah.
What do you mean?
It's meat. She'll if you kind of figure, like, she's probably somewhat familiar with the layout of the city, so she could probably drive to Joe's Diner without too much issue.
Sure. So you get there. It's not that hard to find. Joe's Diner is a pretty well-known place. That's like, it services a pretty busy like tram stop. There's a lot of tram in town, obviously, because not everyone owns a car yet, so not everything's
If it's a
built around
diner,
cars.
it's an old train car.
Yes, it's an old train car.
That's what diners used to be.
So it's an old train car that's been pulled off the tracks and put down and built out to be an actual
Old dining
diner.
car.
Yes, an old dining
Yep.
car. So it's there now. It is next to a tram line, so it's not hard to find, and there is parking there, even though it's fairly. There's like 2 spaces at that, and one of them is full, but you can fit your car there.
I get, like, width-wise, yeah, still be hanging out by a lot.
Yeah, like, but the good thing is that you don't need to worry about it, because there's a good gap between the back of
Nobody
your car
else is
and the tram.
driving.
Yeah, no one else is driving, and
There's
there's
a lot of
good gap.
carriages on the roads, though.
Oh yeah, drawn by
Yeah,
lizards, I guess.
Yep, something. Just a sensor bar. We don't know what it is.
Just a blurred block.
Yeah.
No one knows No one knows what pulls anything. We just don't know. It's fine.
Yep. But yeah, nope. She'll drive you without too much trouble. I mean, if you don't start up casual conversation, she will. Whether or not you speak.
She's a yapper.
She's gonna be.
I think is.
Yeah.
Well, she's a fox, to be fair.
Yeah.
Foxes are for sure yappers.
The little yappy, yeah, and she talks fast. I can't do it because I tried for a whole week trying to nail it down. She speaks in a transatlantic accent, like the artificial, like kind of like rich person accent from that era. So it's very noticeable.
Does
as
she
she
do that
speaks.
thing where she looks more at you than the road?
No, she's a really good driver. That is like is more of a thing is that she can talk fully while talking to you and not really like she can multitask in the way that she doesn't have to focus on a thing to task it. Like if she doesn't need to look at something, she can just speak and she can follow.
See, Red,
easily.
other people can do that too when
Yeah,
they're driving.
To be fair, that is a very hard skill to master. Actually, that is.
I can do
Because-
it. It's a thing that I learned after driving multiple places with people and been in a car for a very long time.
Yeah, you have to expose towards it a lot to do it. And also not be autistic, because I found that to be a pretty universal thing if you're on the spectrum.
Huh.
I can't look at somebody in the eye when I'm talking to them normally, but you're just trained to look at a face generally when you talk. So it's
Wild.
it's the thing, yeah. Random thing. But yeah,
So,
she'll
yeah.
talk randomly about everything, whatever it is.
I'm going to assume that
Yeah.
Jake sits there in silence and listens while judging
Picking
her.
up details.
Yeah, picks up details.
And I'm not that useless. I mean, I'm armed and somewhat dangerous. So you don't have to worry about me.
Is that like an actual pistol kind of thing, or is it just the car as your weapon?
Oh no, I'd never heard Bucephalus. But no, I've got it's in the glove box. It's in the glove box. You got to jiggle the handle right there. It doesn't. He opens it. There's just an actual like side by side shotgun, like sawed off. There's shells somewhere in there.
You can see the shells.
Right.
Yep. It's a holdout shotgun. It doesn't have any other description to it, so I'm assuming
It's a side by side.
It's either a side by side or it is a one shot like hunting
It
shotgun
has
that has been
two shells, I
cut
believe,
down.
so it is side by side or it's under over. It's one of the two. But
Yeah.
given it's
under over, because that's more in keeping with her with her
Yeah.
class. She got an over under hunting shotgun and then sawed it off.
Yep. Even though it's not a criminal charge to do that, it should be just because it's a hunting shotgun. I don't know why, but it feels like that should be illegal.
It's more pistol-like than an actual sawed-off shotgun side-by-side.
That's true, yeah.
Because it has the cross-section is slimmer.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's there. It's there. Like, I know how to use it.
You point the business end at the enemy and pull the trigger.
Yeah, and then the clay pigeon breaks up or whatever.
Probably wouldn't call it a clay pigeon. That seems a bit racist.
I mean, it's really posh, like rich person sport. It might still have that name.
That's true. It seems a bit racist, but all right.
Yeah, that's something that gets renamed in the 60s.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and so even though she does have a weapon. She is.
Okay. Does it use
that-
12 gauge slug? What?
Hunting shotgun, 1920. No, that'd be like a 10 gauge. Because it would be a black powder shell.
It would
probably
be, yeah.
still.
It wouldn't be. You wouldn't. It'd also probably be a paper cartridge still.
It'd be it'd be a metallic cartridge.
Ah, yeah.
It wouldn't be plastic. It would be a metallic black powder cartridge, most likely.
Mhm.
Unless it was like a brand new one, and then it's maybe smokeless.
Maybe.
Yeah, which I don't think it is. I think this was actually like an expensive old shotgun that she didn't give a shit about. Because she doesn't, says, why not? You get the sense she has a lot of money. Or her family has a lot of money.
Okay.
It's got an Austrian name written on the side of it. like maker's mark.
There's some filigree that's been like cut off at one point because it kept going.
My great grandfather's or something.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's not like-
I'm getting vibes of Demolition Man right now. So if you start singing Armor Hot Dogs, I'm going to be very pissed off.
No, she spent some time out of the she spent some time like being a nurse for like wounded soldiers and stuff like that. She's experienced the world. She's
done things.
She's just very insulated to a lot of the normal stuff.
Yeah.
It's a thing. But yeah, so and it pulls up to the diner.
You, Ace, immediately see the giant car pull around the corner and then pull into the space, and you recognize the two people in it. You hear it, and then you see it, and then you're like, oh, I know those two people. That is that big wolf, and that is that energetic fox.
Probably small. She has a D4 in body, so it's probably...
Thin. Not necessarily small, but thin.
Thin, yep. Athletic.
Yes.
But not like, yeah. Like a sprinter.
Sprinter athletic, not beefy athletic.
Yeah. Table tennis.
Yeah. And as you guys pull in, of course, jump out of the car and head towards the door. It is not end of shift yet for you, Aces, but it's getting close.
They have somebody take your coat?
It's not that kind of place.
No, it's a
Got it.
diner.
Hey, Joe,
Yeah.
can I knock off early and come in earlier tomorrow?
Don't worry about coming in early tomorrow. You've earned a day off. Go on.
I'm gonna stay here for a bit. Some people I met last night are coming in.
All right. No worries. And you guys enter the diner to the jingling of the door.
Hey
This
there,
is
Mr.
nice.
Bullet. I'm sorry I didn't get your name.
Oh, you can just call me Lucy.
Lucy, Miss Lucy, come. There's a booth.
No,
free
just
over
Lucy.
there. I don't think I can do that yet. Please come this way.
You are definitely playing as somebody from the South. That's perfect.
Yeah, I can't do that. It's like when I used to do like
Try not to.
when I used to do like customer service and things like that, and it's like, yeah, no problem, sir. I can do that for you. You don't have to call me sir. You can call me Mark. No, I can't.
Not allowed. It's not legal.
If I don't, this breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem, ma'am. I can do that for you straight away. Oh, just call me Carol. That's never gonna happen.
That's illegal.
I'm sorry.
This uniform's
okay?
on, you cease to be an individual. You are a customer.
Yes. Because if I don't do that, I will
Like
go
they're
insane.
saying, please call me by my name. I can't. Okay.
Now, in the South, it is like even if you don't know their last name or anything, you just say their first name, and that's how they know. And it's always Miss or Mister, something like that. That is 100% true.
Take a seat. Do you want some coffee or some soda?
Coffee would be great.
Oh, I'll take
The
a
gumbo's
coffee.
good if you're hungry.
I'll take a coffee.
Right.
I'll go and get us some coffees.
Joe's already making coffee. He heard it.
Thank you, Joe.
Has the cool. Has the 3 coffees placed out on the table for you.
Turkish blend or
Probably
No,
standard blend.
from a pot.
Joe's just looking at you like he doesn't know what the fuck to say and just walks away.
it's really weird because she's not clean or well dressed or anything like that.
She's wearing leathers, probably has some oil on her like leather jacket, and is definitely like dusty.
She took an ignition coil out of an engine. She has oil on her muzzle because she definitely took it out without gloves, and then she like rubbed her
face with her hand.
face.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely
What you'll both notice, because you're both canines and with that nose, is that although there is the underlying musk of a skunk, which is always going to be there, he mostly smells like you're walking through a rose garden.
Oh,
She's
somebody.
got something on it. It doesn't smell artificial at all either. It smells very floral and very natural.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
If you enjoy that.
God, you'd think if you'd have this like the nose of like a canine or something, you'd definitely have like eventually you just get nose blind.
Oh, you'd have to. You'd like teach
to that kind
yourself
of
to
stuff.
not be as hyper about it all the time, I guess.
Well, because you have to mix in the fact that like everybody else has,
Musk.
sense and stuff
Yeah.
like that are totally like clashing, but then also modern society
Yeah.
that you are now in close proximity to.
It's a thing that is
Like-
brought up in the Fables comics, because obviously Big B Wolf is the big bad wolf, and he has a natural spell, and he's like figured out a way to turn off certain things when he needs to, because he's got all.
Yeah,
these
it's like I say,
heightened
you just
senses.
be kind of nose blind to it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's yeah.
The
I
coffee's,
don't- I mean-
the coffee is different than what you usually expect to, but you wouldn't say it's bad. You've definitely had worse coffee.
Would she have? No, yeah.
Traveling, 100%.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You've definitely stopped in a diner somewhere in fucking Idaho, and it's been like, this isn't coffee, this is slop water.
She's definitely made her own coffee in a really shitty way, but they had much better beans because she bought like really nice ones, but didn't
Yeah.
actually like invest
Know
in
how
any
to
way to
make
make
anything.
it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
And she
idea
doesn't
of
comment on
grinding
the
a
smell.
coffee is putting the beans in front of her front tire and driving backwards and forwards over them.
I mean, that
She's
would work.
definitely cooked a sandwich on the engine block,
As needs must, as needs must.
as needs must. Yeah, I believe Miss Bullet, Jay here needed to ask some questions.
Yes, Mr. Bullet.
Yeah, it's Jake.
Jake.
Mr. Jake.
Mr. J.
Mr. J. Oh, no.
I'm not doing
Anyone
that.
call me Pudding and I'll kill him.
Can I call you Sugar Plum? Is that?
Yeah, why not? My disappointment knows no bounds with you.
Thanks, Sugar Plum. It's appreciated.
Jesus Christ.
Your character dies.
Rocks fall.
No, just Ron Rock falls, hits Jake in the forehead, and he dies. Anyway, yeah, you guys go ahead.
Give Rival one moment, please.
I've killed the man.
He'll come back.
Mikey just killed a man. Put a rock into his head.
See, you have a thing to do that though.
Thank you,
Is you're very you know how to hit somebody right when they don't expect it, and that it's hard to recover because you've done that to me too.
I've done it to everyone
It's
here at
definitely-
least once.
At least once. It's always yeah, at least once. It's always yeah.
And I think we've all got you as well.
Yes,
so
you have,
it's-
yeah.
We've
Yeah, yeah.
It's to be expected.
Law of averages.
Rival's crying.
Law of averages. It's just don't acknowledge
please
it, it'll go
don't
away.
kill him. I like him alive.
That's fair. You do
Reminds
live
me
with him.
last night I was watching the D&D movie the first time, and I
Oh,
actually had to
great.
stop watching it. I had to stop watching it at the fucking the glitch holograms.
Oh, that was so good. That was such a good
I had to-
scene.
I had to totally pause the whole thing because I literally couldn't absorb
That's
anything
such a
going
great
on in the
scene.
plot.
I love that scene. It's
Yeah,
so
that
good.
was great. Yeah.
Mr. Bellet, I found out some things.
Okay. Piss off.
Lock it down.
Lock in.
You're professionals.
Scary face. Lemon face. Ooh.
This coffee ain't half bad.
So, the people who are sitting upstairs with the doctor, I don't know his name. I've seen him though. We've never needed his services. They kind of said that the fellow who has shot Mr. Wilbur, it's odd that he was targeted because the fellas are kind of like everywhere, and not like, and everyone sort of relies on them. So it's kind of odd for them to be targeted. And then a couple of fellas who come in here and every so often they work on the roads, and they were saying that they heard someone running away from the Amethyst Dam, but they weren't a big person like an elephant or a crocodile or a bear or anything like that. They were more sort of our size, but that also means that they're not sort of too small either, so that kind of narrows that down a little. And then the nice police officer that helped me came in as well to see how I was doing, and they said that they currently had 3 suspects, but they couldn't tell me anything else, but that's what I was able to get. But if I hear anything else, I'll let you know, but I don't know whether any of that's helpful.
You got
I've got my other job to do tonight as well.
You got a phone?
Yeah, there's one near the bathrooms.
And I go to the phone.
Right? Operator.
And I call the police.
Yep, sure. Put you through to the police line. Hello.
It's Jake Bullet. Trying to get a hold of Officer Genevieve.
One moment, sir. And you hear the phone be put down, like, on a table. And then some...
Oh, Miss Lucy, where are you from?
Out east, Gothic state.
We chatter the whole time Jake is away, because
Gossip.
Ace is a chatter.
Yeah. We got 2 yappers here.
If it gets personal, Lucy does not give a super clean amount of information about her
Neither does
specific
Ace.
background.
They keep it general, and it's mostly about other people.
Just gossiping about people, you know? Just
Gossip, in other words.
gossip. Just big old
Yeah.
gossip. Anyway.
Spill the tea. What's going on?
Yes. So after a few moments, you hear Jake, and it's Genevieve.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, what's up?
So, I've been tasked with seeing if I can get some information about the shooting that happened last night.
I expected as much, yeah.
Yeah. So my sources are telling me you got 3 suspects.
That checks.
Am I in good enough terms with you to get some names?
We don't have names yet. I'll tell you that much.
So how do you have 3 suspects then?
There was some other workings in the background. There was a Lombardi, a Parisian, and a Muldoon who we've been keeping an eye on, who we believe to have been working in the background trying to stir up some shit. You know how it is. Been pretty quiet in town gang-wise for a while. So we believe they have been working somewhat. We unfortunately don't have names, largely because people aren't talking right now, but we'll have them soon.
Does it mark you as strange that someone took out a bootlegger?
It's a touch strange for sure, but we did find something nearby that I think might interest you.
Okay.
There was a... Hang on, let me find the name of this. I just have it written down here somewhere, but I need to figure out where it is. The killer left a calling card that has been noted as a thing for a serial killer who's been in town. You've probably heard of them. One second, I have the notes here. I'll get it for you because I need to get this right. Should have had this up already, but you know, I'm not that professional. Only enough professional. Here we go. The thing that he left behind, well, they left behind, we don't know yet. When did I not write it down here? Oh my god. They left behind a paper fish, which is sort of known as a April Fool's fish in Cajun culture. And it's been a thing that's happened a couple of times. Some killings a couple of weeks ago. There was that, you might remember the Parisian lieutenant a month and a half ago. Was found, same thing. Serial killer's been on the go for a while. It seems a bit weird that, you know, this would happen, but I suppose at some point he was going to get, got to catch someone in the wrong place at the wrong time.
In the middle of a crowd in a bar?
I mean, that bit sort of fits. A lot of the time this killer seems to get people in places where they wouldn't get, you know, where they'd be surrounded by normal people. But something about this killing is a bit different. Obviously, it was loud and public.
Alright, well, I'm digging, so if anything I find, I'll send your way.
Got it. If we get news before you do, I'll be sure to let you know.
Appreciate it. Take care of yourself, Jenny.
You too.
And I hang up the phone.
Cool. There's still gossiping going on at the table.
Yeah, I'll let them keep gossiping. Start a stopwatch, see how long it takes.
10 minutes later, it's still going.
At some point, due to the nature of her customer service skills, Ace will look around for you. Mr. Bullet.
Bullet's cleaning his glasses right now if you just hang on.
Sure. I know how important that is.
Yes, very important.
Okay. So, what have we established while I've been gone?
Well, that the Smiths down at the end of the road down here, they're definitely up to something. But Miss Lucy's car is exquisite. She's been telling me all about it.
Kenneth's thinking about getting a Model A, but he can't really afford it, so it's more of a dream thing. Lloyd is thinking about entering into some racing circuits down south, but there's nothing going on right now, not the right season for it.
So, nothing case related then?
Not why you're not here.
Okay, so basically they've got 3 suspects, but they don't have names because they're not entirely sure. Also, could be a 4th suspect who might be a serial killer due to the calling card that's been left at each murder scene. So yeah, the police are pretty much where we are.
What's a calling card?
A fish, a paper fish.
DM, would I know anything about that? Because she's been in the area about 10 years.
Absolutely, yeah. What they refer to this as like an April Fool's fish. It's very common practice for kids to like run up behind people and slap, a paper fish on their back and then point it and yell, you've been fished in French. It's a very common thing in Bellegarde.
I know those fish. I've been hit by those fish.
Well, they were found at previous murder scenes, so. And this one.
That's the sound of a serial killer is a little troubling.
Yeah. All right. Are you gonna be good getting home?
Me and my mama only live a block away, so I walk home and then I'll go to my job this evening. Mikey, which gang would I work for?
In the area you're in, the O'Shaughnessy's.
The establishment I work at in the evenings is an O'Shaughnessy bar. Do you want me to keep an ear to the ground?
Absolutely, but don't get yourself into trouble.
Oh, they'll just see Ace. I'm a chatter.
If you hear anything, fine. Call my office. There's a person who can take messages. I'll come and find you. Other than that, I don't want you digging yourself into a hole.
Thank you, sir. I'm not really a fatter.
Right. I suppose we should go and talk to a doctor.
Give him my regards.
Cool. You can jump back in the car with Lucy, and you can get there. Doesn't take that long. The roads aren't busy. It does mean, however, you have to cross the Paris Row to get to the other side of town. But it's fine. You get there, and it's I'll say it's probably around 4 in the evening at this point. Your last few patients are sort of filing in at this point. Good doctor. No one's really like there on an emergency basis though. It's a lot of like, small things, the odd. Someone got burned, which you're dealing with right now. It's not a major burn. A lot of like, keep something cool on it. Here's some ointment. Wrap it up in this, in this bandage, which has this thing on it. That sort of stuff. And then you hear the car approaching before you see it. And your receptionist, as you can see, stands up and looks outside and goes, "Oh my goodness, the size of that motor vehicle," and then comes back inside and sits back down again. She is, of course, just sitting there, chilling out, waiting for whoever to show up. There's a moment or two when everyone is just, sitting there waiting for their name to be called. You guys pull up in a space nearby, or pull up on the street, either one. There's not that many cars around this section of town. Excuse me. And you head inside. The receptionist looks up and goes, "Excuse me, do either of you two have an appointment?"
No, we don't. But we'd like to see the doctor.
Walk-ins. Might be a tight fit on time.
Less medical, more personal visit.
She looks, she goes, "Okay," and stands up and goes into the room. You're currently giving out a prescription to someone for I'll say it's a cold.
Delousing powder.
Yeah, it's a delousing powder, or it's a flea treatment. Common enough in this area of the world, let's say. And the receptionist goes, "Doctor, there's a wolf and a fox outside. Says they want to speak to you."
Please, just inform them I'll be out just in a jiffy here. I'm just dealing with a dog requiring a prescription.
Okay, no worries. She'll step outside, close the door, and go, "Give us a moment. He's currently dealing with a patient with a sensitive matter. He'll be right out in a moment. Please take a seat, though. If you would like anything to read, there is some magazines on the desk."
How old is the oldest magazine?
Let's find
Wrong
out.
question. How old is the youngest magazine?
Let's find out.
Sears catalog 3 months ago.
Probably, yeah. It'd be around about the date when he opened this practice here. So
The oldest magazine is about 8 months old, and the youngest is about 4. And they're spread across various different things. There's always a fresh newspaper, though.
Uh-huh. I'll stand making sure I can still see his door and the front door and anything outside. He might run.
I'm just wondering if you could physically do that in this building. All right. Well, you can stand. Maybe you're standing at the door smoking. We'll say. There is a few moments goes by, and at this point, the dog comes out of the doctor's office, and then he leaves, and the door is open, and you can see the doctor in there sorting some paperwork. He's just writing in a notebook, or writing in his records.
Doctor?
Well, if it isn't the other folk that I unfortunately had to share that sad incident with the other night. How can I, actually, before you answer that, please step into my office.
Okay.
The doctor will make sure everyone's in the office and the door shut.
Surprise, surprise, the dog is not too keen on the doctor's office.
I'm not saying I'm not keen, I'm just saying I don't like doctors.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. Every time I go near one of these places, they try and cut something off.
Fair. That's all I'm saying on that one. I don't have much else to comment on that one, to be honest.
So, Doctor.
Yes.
Why were you at the
Amethyst
the bar last night?
Yes.
Are you still there, Utari?
He answered.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah,
Uh,
he's just going, yes, yes. Like, you've not asked him anything specific or given him any
He had it.
opportunity.
He what?
I don't think Atari heard you, babe.
No,
Oh,
no,
yeah, I
no,
was
I
about
heard
to
you. I heard you. Can you hear me?
I can
I
hear
can
you
hear
now,
him.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
talking.
He was like, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I said, why were you at the bar last night?
Oh, I didn't hear the why. He was just
There you go.
the bar. He was just like the bar. That's what I heard.
No, I asked
Last
why
night?
were you at the
Oh,
bar last
why?
night?
I didn't hear the why. Part.
Nah, that's fine, mate. No problems.
Why wouldn't I be? I was a guest of some clients of mine.
Some particularly well-dressed clients of yours who seem to be spending an awful lot of money on you.
What of it?
I'm wondering who you were with, and whether it is pertinent to the investigation I've been asked to conduct with your help.
Well, I'm afraid that I can't say whether I understand is pertinent, but you understand I'm a doctor, right? And I have many clients across many backgrounds. And some of them pay for private consultations outside of the office, and in exchange as well for good services rendered. I'm given opportunities of gifts and stuff like that, which is obviously a private matter. Now, if you're suggesting that I'm possibly a suspect of this, or possibly my clients, then I'm afraid that even if I had information of that, I would be put under a very difficult position given the confidentiality between a doctor and his patient. Now, what I can say is, you knew who I was with. You could see them. I'm sure you're aware of who they are. So I have to ask, what do you need me to name those names, or are you trying to fish if I'd heard anything? Because if it's the former, then I don't need to name names at this time. But if it's the latter, then I can tell you with most assurity that if I had heard anything, I'd let you know.
Okay, so you're standing on your principles as a doctor.
Yes, and what of it?
Okay, so you're suggesting that those people have a medical condition requiring you to remain silent.
Not just that, but a doctor simply doesn't just go divulging everything about a patient. It's not just their medical records or what specific illnesses they're having. You understand, medical confidentiality is the entire relationship. But regardless, what I'm saying is, you don't need me to name names. You just need to know if I know any information, correct? You probably already know those names of who I was with. You'd be more acquainted with that part of the community than I am in that particular aspect.
Really?
I'm not here to hinder your investigation, but I'm here to support it. But I'm not sure why you think coming in here, giving me the squeeze in my own office about my clients is going to help in any way. Perhaps if you started in a more mutually beneficial manner or more pleasant manner, then maybe that would induce me to be a little bit more helpful. Coming in here and asking for names like a brute certainly isn't the way to go about it, sir. No, sir. Now, I can, to show my seriousness in this instant, I can say this little piece of information, that one of my clients is interested in the details of the shooting. He's not in town, and at this stage I'm not going to name names, but one of my clients has a vested interest, it appears, in understanding what went down and would like me to inform them if I hear anything. Now, that's useful information to you, is it not? That's actually actionable information, rather than simply putting the squeeze on just who it was I was with.
I asked a question, and for the last 5 minutes you've spoken constantly in a defensive manner. desperately trying to evade the question and then just give me information to try and make me shut up. Simple fact is, I haven't said anything
Michael
after I
Key.
asked that question.
Hi, everybody.
You took assumptions. Now, all I was asking was what their names were.
Well, to clarify, Mikey hasn't actually given me any names, simply that I was with friends. So I'm kind of playing at that.
No, it's fine. Yes, I get that.
I mean, I'd be fine with you just
Plus-
making them
plus
up.
this
That
is
was
exactly-
brilliantly played, mate.
This
I
is
just want to say that was
exactly how
awesome.
Weasley Snake would play it, yeah.
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 I've just
So I
been
was thinking-
enjoying.
I was trying to think of a way I could say, because I know legally that's not right, because you still have, like, names aren't protected, like, the medical stuff's protected.
yeah.
They-
Oh, yeah.
Not the name.
Like, that you
I'm
treat
just
them in their
bullshitting.
names.
No,
Totally
just
true.
bullshit.
I'm just
Yeah,
bullshitting.
Sitting there going, I'm going to wait for him to stop and go, no, that's a lawyer's thing, not a medical professional. So I was asking for names, not medical details.
Yeah,
But
it's
you kept
like-
going, and I was like, let him go, because he is playing this so
Let
damn
him
well.
cook.
Yeah.
Let him
Yeah,
cook.
let him cook.
It was literally that Helldivers thing. It's like, should we get... No, just let him go.
Let him cook. Let him cook. So the people you were with, the 4 people, were Roland. He's a mouse. He's an investor. Victor. He's a rabbit. He's a businessman in town. Runs a few pretty medium to high end factories, primarily in metal fab. Francois. He works in the medical profession, produces a bunch of hypodermic needles, new technology, very expensive stuff. And then there is Anton. Anton is a real estate mogul, owns a lot of the hotels in town.
So all people with money.
Yes, money.
You think
Yeah,
anything
so-
else, Lucy?
Hmm?
Think of anything else? Because personally, I think we're wasting our time here.
She's trying to, like, she's thinking, like, okay, no, this is my time to shine. This is my time to ask if this would be useful to to this. How do you keep your scales so shiny and with luster?
So, how do you keep...
Yeah, how do you keep your scales so shiny and with that kind of luster? And it's like,
Oh, well, madam, of course I use a good skincare routine for making sure these scales are good, and the shedding when I have to is as efficient as possible. Plus, I generally keep my health good. I wouldn't be a very good doctor if I didn't practice what I preach.
just looks over to to Bulleti, just going, it's like, this was your job. I just drive here.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it.
I tell you what. So you
No,
want
I'm done.
Wayne.
Thank you very much. We're finished. You're either so deep into this that you are desperate to try and evade any question whatsoever, or you're so dumb you have no idea how to give an answer saying, I don't know. But that's fine.
Right, hold on, wait. You're saying don't know, but you asked names of who he was with. Like, he wouldn't be dull about don't know.
No, but
As
you're
you know, I should answer that in character.
He's raising you, trying to get you to say something.
All right, hold on a minute. What do you mean I don't know? You think I would know all the names of the people I was with at the bar, which is what you was actually asking about. What I'm trying to get is, you're not exactly offering me much. Like I said, I'd support and assist where I could, but I don't really have a huge tie in the matter. This is really mostly your job. So what do I get out of sharing these names with you? I'm not adverse to doing so if, as I said, your demeanor was a little more pleasing.
I mean, I might be able to answer that is the thing. I'm just like,
She's
One.
speaking my language now. Please do go on.
looks down at the shifty snake. It's like, I don't know how I feel about that. Well, one, we were given this job by the madam of the most prestigious and connected speakeasy inside the city. So that would be meaning that we're doing a favor for her, which means you get a favor from her. You get her thanks, which could probably be used.
Don't forget the money she offered.
Well, the money's got to be definitely in his fund. She's trying to well, to her, the money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yes.
But also the thing is that
to Lucy, the money doesn't matter.
the thing
She
is that
doesn't
Lucy
give a
doesn't
shit
know
about
that the doctor's richer than she is. So
personally, probably. Yeah.
So
'Cause most of her tied up in stocks and credit and stuff and ships. So that's the thing.
and the car.
In the car, well, the car's a drop in the bucket. That's for parents. So, but so getting that kind of favor with somebody so politically connected in the city is probably going to pay off well for an up and coming practice.
Yeah.
In this city, I would suppose. Oh, right, the money. And there's money, right? It's just
And there's money. Favors and money. See, that's all you had to do was ask nicely, like this fine madam right here. So, the
I never
people
asked
I
you a
was
question.
with.
So you wanted me to reiterate knowledge you already had?
Right, okay, guys, I'm now confused. Like, what?
So the madam, when you
Because
guys
he
were at
he's
the
told me
bar,
this night
yeah.
before.
yeah, you guys when you guys were at the bar, she was like, "I'm offering
Right,
him
okay,
money
so
and anyone else."
she's
who
saying
can
the
get
money,
this."
but she's just sweetening the deal with favors.
No,
That's-
but that was the whole
No.
point. It was we're working.
Remember the
for
gator that
her.
came down
Yeah.
and offered and was the one that gave us
Oh,
like
Utari
the
wasn't here.
pendants
He had
and
to go
stuff.
deal with something. That's right. So
Oh,
Right,
okay,
that's-
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
So-
okay, we're just talking around.
So at one point,
Yeah,
the gator, the proprietor of the bar came down from like the top floor and was like, "All of you, I will provide you with money and with favors if you're willing to do this for me, because you were all there and you guys aren't."
You came in right
Yeah.
after she said that. You
Yeah.
came in towards the tail
Right,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that-
Yeah.
Sorry, I realized I
Right.
should have probably reiterated what she said, but yeah, that's what she
Yeah,
said.
that
You
would've
can
been
play this
helpful.
off like you were just being obstinate, trying to squeeze
Yeah,
through the
yeah.
deal, but then you were just reminded of the fact that that's still a pretty fucking good deal. So
Yeah.
it works out.
Yeah. Okay, we'll play it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Right, that clarifies so much because I was sat there like.
Cool,
what-
no worries.
what-
I'm
what?
glad we got there. We're cool.
Yeah.
To be fair, I missed a lot of that too. I was gone in the whole center
Yeah,
of that.
that's
I've just
true,
been using context clues.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. So providing that would be a very
That puts a whole different spin on it, doesn't it, Utari? It does not take away from how well you played that part, though. Okay, I just want to stress that everyone at home, give love to Utari in the chat.
Honestly,
Utari's one of the best role players here because he takes what he's got and he can roll with
Yeah.
it as much as he
honestly,
needs
it
to, you know,
honestly
stop.
makes perfect sense for the character that he's built as well, because it's like, oh, he knows he's going to get this stuff, but maybe he can get a little something, just a little something spicy, you know?
Dr. Schultz is just a shit.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
Dr.
he's-
Schultz is a
he's
snake.
our
Is a
shit.
snake oil salesman.
he's our
Just
shit.
a literal
Yeah.
snake.
Literally sells his own oil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes it himself as well.
That's how. I mean, that's one of the things he makes his own
See.
scale oil.
yep. Dr.
don't
Schultz
know how.
patented scale oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's not detail how.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
Right,
you
let's
provide
get
us
this, let's
with
get
those
this,
names.
let's get this wrapped up before we have to close off.
Yeah.
Yes. This man right here has just reminded me about that. It just slipped my mind, all those details, now hadn't it? My apologies, but as I said, if you'd approached it with the same sort of demeanor as she had, we don't need to play this hardball. You can pretend you're not, but you are. I know a
So the
hardball
names.
when I'm.
They're the names. They're
So
the
the
There's the
names
names.
are-
Any time for the names?
So the names are, and then he'll
Very
recite
gives
the
them
name.
names.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate
Would you like
that.
to also be a part of this investigation going forward?
Well, now you remind me of what's on offer. Certainly, I'd love to be a part of it. in whatever capacity I can.
Well, first, at the moment, what we need is information. So, anything non-medical related, obviously, that you hear.
So keep your
Here's
ear
my car.
holes open. Yes.
As I said, the gentleman who's interested in the particulars of what happened in the shooting, I'll see what I can know from him. It might be a case of, well, I'm not sure what exactly his placement in that part of things, as you know, is, but I'll see what I can find out from him.
Would it help if I could get you to see his body?
Oh, you mean the deceased person?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. I didn't recognize his face on the first bat. I doubt the second bat would give me much more information, and I'm already aware of what killed him. The bullet through the lungs did it.
It's also like 90 degrees out, so he's definitely already embalmed.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's also Southern funeral, so he's been embalmed and he is already in a wake because they've got 24 hours to get him in the ground before that starts being an issue.
There's a bit of a
I
pungency,
literally
you know.
treated him, so I'm quite aware of how he was killed, and as I said, I had no idea who he was.
Well, thank you for your time, Doctor.
Oh,
Cool.
Mr. No, Mr. Bullet. I'm just gonna call you Bullet.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. A friend of mine is kind of local to here, upper in the stratus of things. Was there, may have known something. Wasn't really thinking last night about that specifically, but I could ask him about this, or if we could talk to him at some point and get some information, possibly. About,
Yeah, why don't we go see him next week?
Yeah. And scene.
So thank you all for showing up to our session. The reason why Lucy wasn't thinking about that was she was too busy having a good time. Anyway,
Yep.
before we close up for the day, thank you all for watching. I would like to appreciate anyone who's been here, so I'd like to give a shout out to Rival and Red of RivalzoneGaming. You can find them on Twitch and YouTube. Big shout out to Commissar Roach, who has joined us as a player today. That's a very rare experience for Roach. And
Yeah.
our
Follow
good
me on
friend,
Twitter.
yeah, indeed, and our good friend Utari Onzo. Utari's been painting miniatures, was having a great time looking after his small child. Been living, loving life. That man.
Thank
Fantastic
you,
stuff.
Mikey.
And of course,
Still
Thank you,
role
Mike.
playing up his heart the whole
oh,
time.
that man having a great time.
Yeah.
I love roleplay.
Absolutely.
You know.
As for me, you can find me on Twitch. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me anywhere you need to find me. But if you want to find me on YouTube, you can find me at SurelyOnlyMikey. And our missing member of the group, Midgeman, you can find him at Midgeman. He is our, I would say fearless leader, but no, that's wrong. I don't know what he is really.
Mascot.
Fearful leader of us.
Yes, fearful leader of us. Yeah, that's correct. Anyway, thank you all. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.